who is ready to go with the savings.
Hey, Tim.
Good to see
I can do a gentle shake, but it's getting better. It's getting better.
You know, you just want to work up slowly to that.
Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to be here. We're starting an hour early before the launch of the TTV. We're very excited about this TTV. But, Tim, I'd like to just take one, few seconds here to, throw a little love out there to the Watch Geeks, because the Watch Geeks lost one of their original members today.
Yes, they did.
Frank Silber has been a good friend to me over the last couple of years. He passed away last night. He lost his battle to cancer. And I just want to throw a lot of love out there to Frank's family and, of course, his beloved girlfriend, Donna. Much love to you out there. And we're all going to miss Frank quite a bit.
Indeed. And on behalf of all of us here at ShopNBC, we are aware of your loss. And thank you for supporting us as you have. And our thoughts and prayers go with you. Let's talk about, obviously, watches. Maybe we can just dedicate the show to Frank, I suppose.
That's a great idea, Tim. This show will be dedicated to Frank Silber. I love that concept. Listen, this is our Excalibur, and, this, first of all, Tim, this is actually the fourth watch we did with this crown cover, the bridge with the locking cover. And it's in our Safari series. It follows our Expedition and our Excursion. This is the Excalibur. This is a 55-millimeter case, Tim, so it's rather large, very, very impressive. It does have the Ronda StarTech 5040D with a 1/10 of a second indication down there at the 6 o'clock position, and of course it doubles as a 10-hour counter here. But very impressive timepiece. The strap, Tim, one of our finer leather straps. It's got that quilted padding, but it's done with a heat seal treatment in between those pads, Tim. But one of our favorites, and it's got the Duracoche finish on the bezel, the Duracoche finish, as you can see, on those pushers as well, the way that they're integrated just seamlessly in the design with that bridge with the locking cover.
Well, I've just gotten updated here, and already we are in a wait in the phone room, so I'm unclear at this point if you guys are calling to grab the once only, you're getting in on this, or if you are calling for today's top value, that's not going to be released for about another 45 minutes or so, just so and I'll give you a heads up on that. But you can call for the once only. You can certainly call for this. I will, as far as quantity is concerned, tell you now that we're already inside of 2 dozen if you want the orange, so realistically, orange is going to be the first to go. 3 different colors. We're in blue, orange, or green. Now, the blue and the orange are going to be kind of obvious because they have the very bright colors in the bezel, and they've got it in the matching buttons in the crown and so on. Now, the green is named because there is a green pigment that's been applied to the hands, and you'll also see it through some of the indices, but it does not come out on, for example, the bezel like the other two does. In fact, this actually has this really cool kind of a metallic, a gray approach, I guess I'd mention as far as the buttons are concerned.
Yeah, very good call, Tim. It's kind of like a pewter-looking color, absolutely. But the green, as you point out, is the most subtle. It's black with just a little bit of hint of green accents, whereas the blue and the orange have the full orange bezel, the blue bezel. Of course, everybody knows I'm a big fan of orange. It's my favorite color. The blue, though, great with blue jeans. But just take a look. I mean, without even coming in tight, this must be assimilate maybe 20, 25 feet away. Just, this is an attention getter, Tim.
Well, how can it not be, though? First of all, the colors are bright, and secondly, you're building a 55-millimeter piece. So, yes, I agree with you. I think this is going to be, without exaggeration, noticed across the bar, across the restaurant, needless to say, across the boardroom, and so on.
Right, and this was a piece that came out early 2010 for us, so it's that new Stuhrling Original 2010 where, we really stepped up the make of our timepieces from our Sportsman's Collection, our Safari series here, and you're going to be really happy with the make on this timepiece here. Great sports everyday timepiece here with the Ronda StarTech 5040D. It does have add and split functionality to the chronograph. You see the date aperture over there at the 4 o'clock position. And then once again, the details in the dial here. The Arabic 12 and 6 individually applied. All the hour markers are individually applied to the dial here. But just a very impressive sport timepiece here.
Inside of a dozen now left of the orange. It looks like blue is probably going to be following, and then green, of course, being the one remaining. I will tell you candidly that if you're about subtlety, I will find another watch for you. I mean, this isn't going to work. But conversely, if you want a very well-made watch, you want it priced to move, and as you point out, for example, the higher-end leather strap, it has the custom stitching. Not just custom stitching, you're even going as far as color coordinating. the stitching. So the orange
Yes.
strap, for example, matches uniquely the orange watch and the blue to the blue and the green to the green and so on and so forth. 46% off and with 5 interest-free payments, guys. You can get this one home for as little as $23.31 in the shipping.
Yeah, and as you can see, as Tim flashes the crystal there, you see the reflection of the lights in the studio there, those rectangular boxes. That tells you that this crystal is slightly domed. It's not a flat crystal, a little bit more expensive. When it's a flat crystal, and we do many flat crystals, but...
In fact, I need that watch from you.
Okay, yeah, they're
That's
telling us
sold
the
out,
orange
but
is
I can
gone.
give you this one.
But like I was saying, when it's a flat crystal, the studio lights will just wash the entire watch out. So
You can show us in that blue one.
Okay, absolutely. Listen, the blue is
By
great
the way,
for
inside
blue
is
jean.
20 now in the
and
blue
all
if you want
three
that.
of these selections here have the black PVD case. The cases are all done with the black physical vapor deposition.
Well, guys, we've got about 10 seconds left. Let's wrap this one up. The surprise price of $116.56, 5 interest-free payments, almost a perfect 5 out of 5 star rating from the consumers. Orange is sold out, and we are about to call blue sold out. See, the other 2 options, of course, are the blue or the green. All right, let's look a little bit ahead. This one down to $99. Now, I was just talking about classic, all right, and I don't know, it's subtle, maybe not so much, but absolutely classic, smaller size classic watch. Perfect, what I view as a dress sport watch for the ladies, hands down. Beautiful job, I think.
Great call, Tim. Mother of pearl dial. A very versatile styling here, design on this piece for the ladies.
316L steel throughout. And if you'd like it in the larger, the gentleman size, we're going to match the price. So again, it's orange, black, or blue, as you can see reading from right to left. By the way, I love the color change, almost like a radiant quality that you added into the bezel in this. I thought it was a great touch.
Good call, Tim. And just let everybody know that's a 42 millimeter case design on this piece, on the clipper.
The 400-613 to take advantage of that. A big chunk of the once only is already out of here. In fact, since right now I believe we still have the wait going on in the phone room, the orange is sold out from the previous item. Blue, you know what, I'm going to call blue sold out too. I think there's technically like 5 left, but blue is sold out. Orange is sold out. A few left of the green. If you want that once only, and clearly many of you do, please get over to ShopNBC.com. ShopNBC.com is where you want to be if you want the once only, and I'll give you the item number. It's V91187. V as in Victor, 91187. That again is for the once only. We're going to get to it next, actually, but if you want to beat what is already creating a wait in the phone room, I would highly recommend going that route. All right, let's talk about the Alpine. You guys have done such a great job on this. I still have, I believe I'm correct in saying, the first generation Alpine.
Yeah, you definitely have one of the original ones, Tim, and it's been a signature piece for our brand now, the Alpine. It's from our Lifestyles collection, our Alpine series. But there's so many of the characteristics that are still present here. This is the Alpine Extreme. It's a 52 millimeter case design as opposed to the original 45 millimeter case design, okay? And but we still have the cigar-style hands. You still have that propeller-style faceplate, as you can see. You still have the scalloped edges on the side of the case. Now, what's a couple of things different. This one has that new rubber strap design, as you can see over here, that's got the like the kind of serrated edge going down the edges here. You see the Stuhrling original logo. Very soft, high-grade silicone rubber strap. One of the other signatures of this timepiece is the beautiful slope and curvature of the lugs. It just wraps the wrist. It's so comfortable. So it's the same design as the original, but we blew it up from 45 to 52. You still have that bulbous style crown with that rubber ring. We call it an equatorial rubber ring. Now, one of the other differences here is what's remaining on the dial. You can see we've got this kind of scaled look here. Kind of looks like a snakeskin pattern on what's remaining of the dial. You see the minute markers going around on the inside there. You've got the seconds track. But don't forget, after all of that, you still have a skeletonized mechanical automatic timepiece.
But if memory serves, I think the first series on this was a skeleton, and I hope that you guys continue in some form in each generation that you elect to do, that you maintain, if not all of them, at least some of them in a skeleton. I just think that this works. It's, I don't want to use the word, it's this funky sort of way, but it's in this really cool, like a rock and roll, just outlandish watch this just flies in the face of convention, and sometimes I think the watch industry needs stuff like that.
Well,
where it's
absolutely.
not everything has to be in silver and black, and if you want to be just crazy, you get the blue one. I mean, this is where you guys are celebrating the colors. You celebrate radical case design and that really thick domed crystal, which of course has been hugely popular. I'd say now for what, 5-6 years anyway.
That's right.
And it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. We're going to show you this in two different colors. Well, let me put it this way. It's how they name them. There's one that is under the word blue and under the word brown, which means that they've named them actually for the straps themselves. So keep that in mind. And it really, I think, simplifies things in this instance. So the brown one, if you want, frankly, more of the orange, and then it's got this really cool radiant kind of a tobacco brown going on. And then you've got a little bit more of a, I guess, multicolor concept in the blue.
Well, you'll see a little red, white, and blue here. But, you know, this blue strap, I'd call it an indigo blue. Great blue jean piece right here. I mean, if you wear denim, I mean, this is a great every day as far as if you want to wear a skeleton mechanical automatic every day because of the rubber strap here. But again, this would be your blue jean choice right here. But if you're new to watchmaking out there, when you see the inner workings of the watch, it's what we call a skeletonized mechanical automatic timepiece. There's no battery in this watch. It's operating off of a spring, the mainspring, the way that watchmaking used to be 200 years ago. So, you know, it's really a commitment to your own sense of personal style. You're paying tribute. You're showing your appreciation and love for watchmaking, an art that goes back centuries, Tim.
Well, guys, we still are dealing with the wait in the phone room. My best advice at this point, whether you're calling, as many of you obviously are, for that once only or this piece or what have you, is to get over to ShopNBC.com because there's no waiting there. Now, of course, you are welcome to call. Don't misunderstand me, but please know that if you do call, you're going to be holding for a little while. So there's a couple of options. To get in on this, use the added number V as in Victor, 400-340. 400-340. Bigger case this go around, and also I like what you guys did, and I know you've talked about it, but that silicone strap. This is not just any ordinary silicone strap, and you mentioned how comfortable it is, and I absolutely agree. It is immediately soft. It is immediately pliable. This isn't going to be one of those situations where you have to wear it a while and put up with it and break it in. This is from the moment you remove it from the presentation box, it just fits flawlessly right on the wrist.
Absolutely, Tim, and I always try to point out a few things here for people to pick up on and learn a few things. You always want to see if it has the logo on the strap, especially with a rubber strap, because there are companies, as you know, Tim, that will just make, off-the-shelf, off-the-rack rubber straps. And, when you see the logo on it, you say, what's the big deal about that? It's the company name. Of course it should be there, but stop and think about it. It's done with injection molding, Tim, so you have to make a new mold. It's a custom molded strap. There's nothing off the rack about it. All right, Tim.
Well, I think it really speaks to, for lack of a better word, customization. It speaks to the fact that you guys care about the products to where you are going to brand the strap, you brand the bracelets and the cases and so on. And you're right, not every company does. This will be up a little bit later on, guys, but it is released now if you wish to take advantage of it. This is, as you can see, down to $144.90. This time around, 5 interest-free payments. Exactly. The Regatta Meridian is priced to move, and we've got 2 of the hottest color configurations as well. Again, that's up in the next few minutes, but you can take advantage of that now if you wish. So there you have it.
And that's a 49mm case on that.
But you guys are really taking full advantage of that larger trend, but you do it very, very well. And today's top value, which I remember serves as a 53. I think you guys will know that in a bit. Let me show you something happening tomorrow afternoon, Friday, at 3 p.m. Eastern to be exact, and what you are seeing is the only sapphire stacker band that's in the current Gem Treasures collection. So you can pair one with an existing ring, get a new look, or you could actually get multiples, create the stack, obviously, as you wish. That's the whole point of these, is to mix and match. It is going to be priced to move. It's got interest-free payments, and by the way, 1.7 carats of sapphires inset into the sterling silver. Again, that is 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is tomorrow, right here at ShopNBC. My name is Tim. That's Larry. Let's talk more about watches. This next item, this is your one shot at it. You must purchase it this hour, or the deal's off the table, but if you do, you get guaranteed the lowest price. I've been a fan of the Aussie for a while, if for no other reason than I just like a watch named Ozzy. frankly, but it is a really cool watch. This is down, and let me make this clear, for this hour only, which basically means you have 45 minutes or sell out, and then this offer's off the table and it never comes back. If for no other reason, then today's top value happens, and without getting too much into it, basically, especially with a new today's top value, there's no way they're going to allow a once only to run beyond the top of the hour. So, what is a once only? In simplest terms, it means you are getting guaranteed the single lowest price you'll ever get on whatever the item is. In this case, it happens to be the much storied Aussie, and specifically it's the XL Elite. So you've not only have the rectangular, you've got the larger rectangular case with the triple waterfall bezel, with the curved back that is hand set, screws on the corners. I have two favorite features, as I mentioned, I think I did, in the little video I shot for Facebook a couple hours ago. One of them is this dial. Now, of course, you're going to get a lot better shots now than with my cell phone a couple hours ago. But this is, to me, going old school. For those of you who go back like I do with Stuhrling, especially if you looked at them in like 98, 99, 2000, 2001, they were doing phenomenal guilloche design styles in their dial concept. There are still pieces they did then that I regret not owning. It was one of those, yeah, I'll end up getting one, and I just never did, and I've always regretted it. The regulator, by the way, still being one of them, just beautiful watch. But this is that attention to detail when it comes to the classic spiderweb guilloche design on the dial, in this case with the multicolored numbers, as you can see. I think that's part of the big deal. The other, I've got to cut to it now, is the bracelet. This is, in fact, I'm going to do what they call breaking the bracelet, which means you just fold it really, really hard. So you can see this is not a single link. That is a true 7-link, solid link, all steel bracelet on a watch that is under $100, under $90. This piece is $87.58. Furthermore, and again, you have to act now to get in on all this stuff, because seriously, this offer is, I know this sounds like an infomercial or something, but this really is going to go away at the top of the hour, and it's never, ever coming back. We're going to do 5 interest-free payments. So you can get this home for $17.52 and the shipping. You're simply choosing from silver tone, obviously, and the silver finish on the steel happens to be on the screen at the moment, or the black. Now, you guys have obviously had a huge run with this thing, very, very successful. So now, for those of you who were wondering earlier, how was it that you could just mention this and there's already a wait in the phone, and when you sit down 30 seconds into the show, now you see what we're talking about. I mean, it is that strong of a value. It's that good of a deal.
It really is, Tim. You know, our Aussie series is very, very popular. It goes back about 5 years now. Our original Uptown Aussie was 45 millimeters from 12 to 6. This is the Uptown Aussie XL Elite, as you pointed out, which is now 50 millimeters from 12 to 6. And not only did we go bigger, but also we curved the case. The original did not have the curved case. This is also curved for the wrist. So it goes from one end of the wrist to the other. Now, another thing we did, the original Uptown Aussie had the 3 hands and a date. This not only has 3 hands with day and date on the Swiss Ronda movement, but you've got 3 hands with a bilingual day and date, French and English. You can set the day of the week to French or English, and then it will stay on that. But as you point out, Tim, one of the real values here, absolutely 100%, this angled link 7-row bracelet is just a piece of jewelry here. It is sensational. I own the black one that, Tim, you're showing right here, and I always said I'm going to go back and get the silver tone. I haven't done it yet, but I got to make sure I get one of these for me. Check out this silver tone one, Tim. And, you know, by the way, you know, that guilloche soleil pattern is kind of our touch to this rainbow numeral design that is so popular in the watch industry. That guilloche soleil is that sun ray dial there. And then all of those rainbow numerals are individually applied to the dial with little pegs that go through the dial, and then they're sealed on the back side. Now, at this price point, Tim, this, you know, you hear me say it all the time. Listen to the right voices, you'll make the right choices. That's my code to Stuhrling Nation out there. Hey, guys, pay attention, take a look at what's on the screen, and do what you got to do. You know what to do here. You don't want to miss this on the once only. Really one of our best once onlys I've seen in a long, long time.
Well, I just got updated here, so I can share a couple of things with you. We were almost caught up to that wait in the phone room, and now we're pretty deep back into it. So you really can't. At this point, They're running neck and neck, so I don't think we're predicting which one's going to go first at this point. At some juncture, I'm sure we're going to know, but right now it seems to be neck and neck. What you guys need to do is get over to ShopNBC.com. Now, you're welcome to call, but if you do, you're going to be holding for a while. If you get over to ShopNBC.com, you can bypass all that noise. You get through right away. You'll need the item number. That's V as in Victor 91187. By the way, there's a live feed, and right now on our splash page, we have added this. So you're going to go to ShopNBC.com. You're going to see it very obviously right there on the splash page. Click that. You're going to go right to it. You'll see photography where you can zoom in, zoom out, see it from the back, see it from the side, whatever. You choose either black or silver tone in the quantity. Which brings me to my other point. It turns out that a lot of collectors, because we have our ways of knowing this stuff,
they gotta get both.
They are picking up both. They really are. And you know what? At guaranteed the lowest price, it makes a lot of sense. There's over 1,000 of these sold. And by the way, most of that 1,000 paid more for it than you did by a pretty big margin. The regular price on this is $166.50. It's rated a very high, nearly perfect 5 out of 5 in customer choice reviews. By the way, customer choice, what that means is it's not me and it's not those of us here at the network or whatever. It's collectors and customers like yourself that put down money and owned it and added it to the collection and rated a review. This is our producer's favorite. I rather like this one too. 5 out of 5 stars, outstanding. Now this is good.
Less is more, huh?
You know, it is very concise. It is one of those magical reviews. It reminds me, you know what it is? It's the review equivalent of Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. The greatest thing ever in the Sci-Fi Network. It's the same thing. That may be the greatest review ever written.
You know, for all those guys out there, Stuhrling Nation, that have the Uptown Aussie XL on the leather strap, the perforated leather strap, you know, jump in on this one. Get the bracelet. It gives you that option to really dress it up. You're going to love this piece on the bracelet. You know, ladies love this piece too. Now, I will tell you this. Because of the solid end links, with that perfect end link integration, if your wrist is below a 7-inch, if you don't like wearing it, you know, loose, then if you're below 7, I would pass on it and just get it as a gift for somebody else. Because now with the leather strap, it wraps the wrist. But with this, it's got the solid end link, so it extends. If you do have less than a 7-inch wrist, it's going to be a little bit loose. You're going to have a gap there. But a lot of guys like to wear it that way. Ladies like to wear it a little loose as a bracelet. But, you know, if you're 7 and above, you're going to be okay. And you'll notice that it's got the nice curved, not only on the backside for the wrist, but it's got the curved top side as well with that. You called it a waterfall bezel. Never heard that before, Tim.
Really?
I call it a triple step design.
I picked that up in Basel some years ago.
Really? I like it.
Double waterfall, triple waterfall.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I would love to take credit for it, but I cannot.
Well, it's mine now.
Well, fine, you run with it. Run with it.
I'm running. But the triple step design bezel, the large curved Cristerna crystal on this timepiece, the Swiss Ronda movement, the 7-row angled link bracelet, the push button butterfly clasp, the solid 316L stainless steel case, and very fashionable. You know, you see these rainbow numerals and you think, my goodness, this must be a watch for a child. It must be a toy with all these rainbow numerals. But as you know, Tim, I don't have to tell you, this is really one of the higher end looks in the watch industry. You see CEOs, chairmen of the board, wearing a look like this that costs $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 with a look with rainbow numerals. And many companies, of course, have done their take on the multicolored numerals. Some of the companies are using pastels. Some are using the earth tones. We've gone with the jewel tones here, Tim.
Well, I just got my my latest update, and for those of you that are piling this stuff into the shopping carts and not checking out, we need you guys to go check out, because otherwise we're going to have to tip over your shopping carts, and who wants that? Nothing good comes of it. So go check out already. The wait in the phone room is getting larger. People are starting to realize what this is. So again, my strong advice is to how to beat that wait in the phone room.
Can I show them the curvature?
And that is simply to get over to our website, ShopNBC.com. Tom, do we have a prediction on which is going to go first yet or no? Black at this point.
You got to get one of each here, guys. But, you know, take a look at the curvature if we get a chance here. Because, again, that is one of the upgrades with the Uptown Aussie XL. is from the original. There you go. Thanks, Tim. There's a slight curvature. It's an anatomical curve for the back of the wrist, which means the case is curved. The case back is curved. More expensive to do. This is not a cast case. If it's a cast case, the curvature is no big deal. But when it's a solid steel case, cut from a solid bar of steel, it is a big deal. It's more expensive to do. It's much more expensive to produce. It's cut and polish, cut and polish. It goes through 30 steps in the process of producing the case. And there's that black PVD case. And for those of you out there that are the types that you just want to get more bang for your buck, you want to get the best value for your money, there's absolutely no question about it. The black should be more expensive than the silver tone, as you know, Tim.
In fact, something I learned from being able to physically tour manufacturing facilities is that the black actually costs more to do than gold does.
That's correct.
And I had not the slightest idea. I was just happened to be in one of the factories, and the guy just off the cuff, he mentioned that, and I made him repeat it. Yeah, it has to do with the overall process and what have you that's involved. The black color actually is more expensive to do than any color of the gold. In fact, to my knowledge, the only layering more expensive is the platinum layering. So you've got two outstanding productions here. I still think, I'm going to come back to my original point, I think other than the fact you have a record low price, and for obvious reasons, I think that's a huge deal. I think we're back to the dial, the fact that you guys are going so old school on this. What made Stuhrling, in my view anyway, what made Stuhrling such a huge success very early on was the attention to extreme detail on the dial. That's obviously present here with the guilloche design. And the other, which I know you've also gone in great depth with, is the 7-link bracelet. You know, that's an amazing combination for this money.
And Tim, this bracelet is going to fit up to probably about at least a 9-inch wrist, okay? So most people are going to have links removed. If you're really adept at doing that yourself, go ahead and challenge yourself and do this one. It's a little tricky with all these little pieces, but for most of you, just take it to a jeweler. Let him take out the links for you, unless, like I say, you're really adept at this. But, you know, don't forget, the Swiss Ronda bilingual day and date movement here. You can set it to French or English. Another upgrade that we did with the new Uptown Aussie XL Elite.
I like what you guys did with the fact that it's vertical. Whereas, for those of you that don't know, so many of the words are usually basically at the 3 o'clock position, basically horizontal. The fact that you guys took that down 90 degrees, I thought it was a nice aesthetic touch, and it does look pretty amazing, especially in combination with such an aggressive guilloche design dial and then all the vibrant colors. Inside of a minute to go, that is how few that we are left. Black very much now in the lead, by the way. And I'm not overly trying to talk you into the black. In fact, clearly I don't. That's going to go on its own. But at this point, if you're not going to take advantage of the record low price, which incidentally is going to go away and will never come back, it'll go away in 32 minutes. If you are not going to take advantage of getting both of these at the record low price, and of the two, you really want the black, you need to stop whatever it is you're doing right now long enough to either get online or get over to our website and reserve however many of the black that you need. I'm sure most of you are just picking up one or two or whatever, but technically I don't think there's a limit. So
if you've never owned a Stuhrling original before, I reach out to you and say, here, try us out with this piece right here. You can't go wrong here.
Well, the today's top value, which is going to come out here in 32 minutes, I mean, not only is that a new example, that's like a whole new level of production, which I know you're anxious to talk about. So you guys are going to learn a lot about Stuhrling tonight, so I'm glad you're here. This is the gentleman's example of the clipper. That's going to be up in just the next few minutes. We are going to match that, incidentally, with a ladies' example. Both are marked down to $99, and with the interest-free payments. In fact, we're going to get to the ladies' version right now. So we're going to do these obviously sequentially. All right, so we're going to start with the ladies, but I will again tell you, if you want the guys' version, that it is available right now, and that's under 400,613, so not exactly sequential in the numbers. 400,608, that's obviously on the screen, and that one is the ladies' version. We'll have the guys out here shortly, but it is available now if you want it. All right, so let's talk about the clipper. I guess one of the obvious things that we need to get to is this is such a terrific approach, in my view, to a very classic, very established look. This is not one, and this is incidentally why I think will always argue that should be room in everybody's collections for classics, is that when you are stepping up to something like this, there is no risk involved when it comes to the aesthetics. Is this going to work? This is a watch you could actually wear years ago. You're going to wear it now. You're going to wear it year after year after year from now, and it will always, always work. Now, when you get into the outlandish stuff, that's kind of a risk that you take. In other words, the outlandish might be cool now, but will I wear it in 2 years? Will I wear it in 5? And now I happen, especially in Stuhrlings, by the way, because they're so fun and affordable, that's where a lot of my outlandish stuff comes from my personal collection. But I will always maintain classics in the collection because they are classic. They're very, very safe. Now, in this instance, we're talking about the women's size, which is a true women's size, I believe a 29 millimeter, I think, if memory serves on this. And we're in the 3 different colors. We have the blue, classic, orange, new, and I think if not already classic, borderline classic, and then black, of course, is needless to say, extremely classic, down to under $100 with mother of pearl dial, all steel construction and interest-free payments. I think you guys are really delivering what I consider the value concept here, especially from the aesthetics.
Well, yes, Tim, you're absolutely correct. You know, our Lady Clipper is from our Lady Regatta series, and this design, this model actually, is about 5.5 years now, you know, for Stuhrling Original. However, it's the first time we've brought it on ShopNBC. It's really one of our best-selling ladies' timepieces. It's done, you know, thousands and thousands of units on the internet, and it is, as you point out, one of the most versatile designs. Ladies can wear this dressed up with literally an evening dress, a cocktail dress. You can wear it to the park, you wear it to the market, you wear it washing the dishes. I gave one of these to my sisters 5 years ago. She still wears it today. It's very versatile. It can take a beating. It's got a screw-down crown, 100 meters water resistant, so you know you've got a really good make on this timepiece. It can take a beating here. You've got the Sterna crystal, the solid 316L stainless steel bracelet and case design as well, Tim, with the mother of pearl, just to dress it up a little bit, but super functional right here. One of our all-time best-selling ladies' timepieces, Tim.
And we're inside of 20 seconds. If you want to snag one of these, V as in Victor, 400-608. Under $100, 3 interest-free payments, all colors remaining available, blue, orange, or black. By the way, I think the mother of pearl is a very nice touch on these.
Definitely, and if we didn't mention it, Swiss quartz movement on that piece as well, guys.
Okay, last call is on this. A reminder again, since pretty much we've been in a, without exaggeration, we've been in a phone room since the moment I sat down and began the show. So what we've done now is that we have moved this watch out onto the splash page, or you can click on the Today link we were just showing you, and you'll see the lineup. For example, if you want to grab that once only, which happens to be in that square, that offer is going to be retracted in 27 minutes. That offer will never, ever come back. Even if that watch comes back, the guaranteed lowest price you're ever going to see, that's never coming back. The watch is always going to cost you more. So please do take advantage of the once only. And we are a relative few minutes away from today's top value, which is a whole new radical approach to watch building from Stuhrling, and Larry's going to be sharing that with you in just the next while. Now, we were just talking about the ladies' example. Obviously, at this point, moving to the guys, I guess one of the biggest changes, because we're still in blue or orange or black, is now it's in a larger, in this instance, the 42 millimeter, and also more of a radiant dial concept.
Yeah, Tim, again, this is our Clipper, and again, from our Regatta series on the Water Sports collection on the men's side here, and one of our, you know, just standard best-selling timepieces. This goes back almost 6 years now for us, and but yet, you know, this is not a piece that you've seen here on ShopNBC. You know, this has been more of one of our internet pieces, and you know, just a standard 100-meter water-resistant, again, screw-down crown, 42 millimeter case design, so a very versatile case size that kind of, you know, will fit everybody. If you're one of those guys that, you know, you want that 49 millimeter, 50 and up kind of thing, then maybe this isn't for you. But this is a very classic size, Tim, at 42 millimeters.
Well, and as I've certainly pointed out many times in the show, and I'm going to continue to do it, there's always going to be room in any collection for a classic size wristwatch. Now, the classic size, in my opinion, in sports are anywhere from a 40 to a 44. You can push that to about a 45. Is it going to be smaller than what's the current range at, 48, 50, 52, and so on? Yeah, that's the point. The 48s and the 50s and the 52s, I mean, those are really fantastic watches. We're going to talk about them a lot tonight, but I don't think you'll ever hear me refer to them as a classic size watch. Those sizes just aren't old enough. When you're talking about the established sizes, and here's two of them side by side. Tanya's showing them to you now. By the way, welcome, won't you? Tanya's our lovely and talented model tonight. To the left, the ladies' version, I believe, a 29, and to the right, a 42. Women, by the way, I don't think are going to have an issue with wearing either of these. I think it's beautifully
well
tailored.
said, Tim. Absolutely. You'll notice on the bracelet, you've got the nice, high polish going down the center links with the satin finish going on the outer edges as well. So it gives you that contrast, gives you that fine bracelet jewelry look, on the solid stainless steel link bracelet.
Well, guys, we're down to about 20 seconds. V as in Victor, 400 at 613. That is for the guys example, the larger version, the 42 millimeter. All 316L steel, which, by the way, means surgical grade steel construction. Absolute classic architecture, classic colors. A very, very safe bet for either a man or a woman here. Okay. Another little update for you guys here. We are already down to 24 minutes remaining. Now, if you just joined the program, let me explain what we're referring to. This is a once-only price, which we guarantee to be the single lowest price you will ever get. This is never going to be at a price lower than you're seeing it right now. The offer is retracted in 27 minutes. Even if the watch is presented again after the top of the hour, the price goes back up. You buy it right now, it's at $87.58 and 5 interest-free payments. Black still at this point very much in the lead. Let's go ahead and move on, and let's take a look at diamonds. I don't think, frankly, we're going to do a whole lot of diamonds this evening, but when you guys do step up, you can't say that you've been holding back on diamond design whatsoever when you take a look at a production like this. It's a big watch. This particular one, if memory serves, I want to say is about a 45. 3 different colors: rose tone, silver tone, and black. Or if you want me to call them out as you're seeing them there on the screen, the silver tone to the left, black in the middle, rose tone to the right. Silver tone, I believe, is the one that we're predicting is likely to go first. A lot of advantages here, the discount, of course, and then you get into the aggressive, what is clearly a high-end design. But then we start talking details, and you pointed out some stuff before the show that I think is very key, such as the very generous diamond weights you guys use, or the fact that you have stepped up to a, without question, high-end, large-grain alligator strap. And since I haven't been told I can't say this, I'm going to take advantage of that oversight. These are large-grain alligator straps made by Hadley Roma. And I know for a fact, in fact, it used to be right here on this network, so it should be easy to track down, where these listed for as much as $389. And I think even in street price, it was a little under $200 for them. So to get this grade of a strap from one of my favorite manufacturers in the world as an upgrade, plus the diamonds, plus the, and you were talking so well to this before the show, that would also be limited edition, very limited, very small limited edition. This is a terrific buy for a collector.
Right, absolutely. Tim, this is limited edition here on this Apocalypse Diamond chronograph here. This is a limited of 100 units. Now, it's not 100 pieces of each of the 3 executions. It's 100 total. You have 33, 33, and 34. I think it was the black one that had 34, if I'm not mistaken. It will tell you on the case back. But this one has the ISA, day-date chronograph movement here. I think it's the 8172, if I'm not mistaken here. But the point is, only 100 units were made, and I think we have less than, we only have like 2 dozen remaining total out of the whole 100. So this is not a lot to go around here. Very few pieces remaining. You have a carat total weight of diamonds on this. They're all near colorless and eye clean. This, by the way, is the 45 millimeter case in our Apocalypse series. The original Apocalypse was 42. We did a diamond version, several years ago that was the Diamond Armageddon, but that was in the 42. Okay, this is the 45. So this is that sweet spot between the 42 and the 49 millimeter. This is maybe the most versatile case size in the entire Apocalypse series, which now has more than 20 models in our Apocalypse series with this diamond sport chronograph here with the diamonds on it. So Here's the rose gold, that 16-karat rose gold layering that Tanya is showing us right now. This case design, as you pointed out, Tim, one of the more popular case designs in the entire watch industry, made popular by a very, very high-end Swiss brand. We've put our own little spin on it. We've Stuhrlingized it, as you say. And as you point out, Tim, we don't do a lot of exotic straps for many reasons and what have you, but this is from our good friend, the jolly old strap maker down there in Florida. JJ, we know him, and he's a great guy, and his straps are kind of expensive, but it is Hadley Roma, and it's a domestic company here. You always pay more when you buy them here in the States, but this is all Louisiana farm-raised, square grain from the tail, Tim. And, again, this is, it is our most popular series is our Apocalypse series. More than 20 models in the series.
You talk about the sourcing on the strap. Let's talk a little bit about exotics because, frankly, I don't get this level of exotic from any brand on the show very often. So I get to talk a little bit to this. First of all, the source of the strap is Hadley Roma. Hadley Roma makes, you can't even argue this point, they make some of the finest hand-built exotic straps in the world, period. And in fact, in North America, they recently even partnered with Hirsch, if you're familiar with that brand, to give you an idea on the level in which these guys play. And now, I've been asked not to name the following, in other words, I'm going to imply some brands here. But if you can think of some of the, well, high-end is relative, but the pieces that go, let's say, from $4,000 to like $15,000 that are Swiss pilot watches, Hadley Roma makes, if not all, I know for a fact, they make a lot of their bracelets and straps, not bracelets, but the straps. Those straps, last I knew from a dealer, were like $3.5 just for the strap without a buckle, to give you an idea of the level in which these guys play. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that this is what's called large grain and square grain alligator. Now, the reason that most alligator has got a lot smaller grain than this is because these large grains happen only in a very narrow area of the pelt. Ergo, they get very, very few of these per pelt. You get many, many more of the smaller grain, which is why when you're looking at watches that go for 4 figures, 5 figures, 6 figures a piece, and they are on alligator, they are all on these very large, squared off, what look like the very large bricks. So to get this actually done by hand, one at a time, by individual artists that are dedicated to the craft, it is remarkable to get that included. And a watch that would go, frankly, for under $1,000, much less at $658, much less a genuine scarce watch. They only made 100 for the world, much less the fact that there is a carat of hand-set diamonds included. So whether, in my estimation, you're looking at this from a diamond aspect, as you rightly point out, if you want to talk about a watch that has a natural high-end appeal because of the architecture of the case, you want to talk about the upgrade of the strap. You even upgraded, in my opinion, the buckle. The buckle in this is a very thick, sculpted buckle. In fact, let me turn this around and I'll show it to you. And it's also matched color-wise. So, for example, the silver matches silver, black gets black, rose gets rose, and so on.
Tim, as long as you had the back right there, I wonder if you could show them the limited edition demarcation here. Now, Tim has the silver tone in his hands, and it'll be somewhere on the case. There it is at the bottom there on the inside. No, it says genuine. There it is. Number, looks like 2 of 33. Is that what it says there? I think so, yeah, or 22. 22? 22 of 33. So that one has 33, and I think it's the black version that has 34. And the rose gold is just absolutely stunning, Tim. Here, try this one on.
Okay.
They got the camera.
Yeah, that actually is more dressy.
But the rose gold is absolutely gorgeous. It's got the signature Stuhrling-esque screw heads in the rose tone as well. But that's probably your richest look. Of course, diamonds on all black always pop out real well, too, Tim. Look at that.
Well, obviously, guys, we're about 10 seconds away here. If you'd like to snag one of these, as I understand it, this is the final quantity in this situation. So if you like it, it's at $658.18, 5 interest-free payments. And you know, it's such a rare instance, in my experience on the show, to be able to show you a watch of only which 100 were built ever. I mean, that's really a remarkable stat.
We did this edition just in time for Christmas, right before Christmas. This is what's remaining of the lot, the last couple dozen here. So have a party, guys.
Okay, let's take a look at the Regatta Meridian. Surprise price, and I noticed it was actually If nothing else, it was a surprise to Larry. But this is down to, as you can see, $144.90. You're choosing between the black or the brown. I'm going to grab a quick call or two here. We'll talk more in depth of what you are seeing in simplest terms. 49 millimeter mechanical automatic. Once again, a beautiful outlay of a very high-end appeal as far as the architecture is concerned. Let's say hi to Brian, who's been holding for us. Hey, Brian, welcome to the show.
Hi, Tim. How you doing? Hi, Larry.
Hey,
Hi.
Brian, how are you?
Very good. Good to talk to you again. This
Good.
is Bihar.
Oh, hey, Bihar, I know who you are. Nice to hear from you.
I got in on the Uptown Aussie on the bracelet. I
Nice.
had to.
Which?
Got the black.
Got the black one.
I think
Yeah.
you're going to like that a lot, Brian.
I think so. I've seen enough of it, and I've heard you talk about it enough. I decided I finally had to bite the bullet and grab one.
Well, you know, Brian, I'm very glad you did. Of course, that once-only price doesn't hurt either. But is that the first Aussie it sounds like that you've ever owned? Is that one?
The first Aussie, yes. I own 5 or 6 Stuhrlings right now. I got the Madman and a couple others, and may end up getting more tonight. I don't know yet.
Yeah, that Madman is great. And tonight, well, actually, you've already gotten into one of the two that, without question, I think are must-owns tonight. The other being the Today's Top Value, which is ridiculous that's coming up.
Yeah.
The Aussie, as you probably noticed, you'll certainly see this when you get it home, it's such attention to dial detail, especially if you love guilloche design. It's just really, really sharp. So, Brian, excellent choice. I appreciate the call. Brian calling in from New Hampshire. And if you want to join us as you're placing that call,
Thanks,
just
Bihar.
tell the folks taking the order. We'll see if we can't get you guys out here. All right, so let's talk about this thing.
Sure.
Mechanical automatic, really rich, I think, in the appointment, for example, of the rose gold layering, and right down to even custom color on the rotor of the piece.
Yeah,
There's some
absolutely.
Great attention to this.
Oh, no question, Tim. This is our Regatta Meridian. It's a 49 millimeter case design. Once again, from our water sports collection Regatta series. The original Regatta case was a 42. Then we bumped it up for the Meridian here to the 49. And these are the two rose gold executions, the rose gold black, rose gold brown. You cannot go wrong either way you go. Very elegant dive style of watch here. You've got, now this is the mechanical automatic here, so you've got the small second subdial, but just look at the attention to detail on that small second subdial at 9 o'clock. Those are all individually applied components. You'll notice that if you watch the second hand, it actually passes underneath the hour markers on the corner, or I should say the second markers on the quarters there. Okay, second hand actually passes underneath. All those individual hour markers are individually hand applied. One of the things about this piece that's signature characteristic of the piece is the bezel. Now it does have that millwork, that engraved wave design in the bezel here, but it's about a 4.5 to 5 millimeter narrow bezel. Typically on dive watches, they're a little bit wider, okay? And that little bit of a narrow bezel just gives it such an elegant look, a boardroom look. And Tim, even though it has the rubber strap with the steel link, take notice of the solid end link integration with the, with the rubber cover on that. I mean, it's just professionally done. I mean, it's properly made here. It's not just a rubber strap that connects at the lugs. It's actually integrated to the case, properly done here. And again, you've got the diver's flip-lock safety clasp. Now, what Tim was pointing out earlier, or talking about earlier, was the color coordination of the rotor. And I'm going to give you a shot of the back. There's that link integration. Here it's got the rose gold link integrated into the rubber strap. Now, on the black one that Tim has, okay, you'll notice it has a black rotor. On the rose gold brown, okay, you've got a rose gold case with a brown dial, and it's got the brown PVD rotor, which gives it a bronze tone. So with the bronze and the rose gold, really one of the most elegant, gorgeous brown executions. There's that bronze tone rotor right there on the back. Just sensational. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I think nobody does brown executions as well as we do, as well as Stuhrling Original. I believe that. I mean, our
the
brown
browns and the
executions
bronze,
are
and I
just,
will say, especially when you guys get into applying the bronze concepts to steel, to metals, I think that's where you really excel. Just beautiful work. And if you look in this instance where you guys have the radiant dark chocolate dial, it sweeps out into the in the material that you guys are using for the lugs, and then it sweeps down into the poly in the strap, even back across the bronze into the back of the watch. Attention to detail, but always with that Pantone color concept with that wheel balance. Just beautiful work.
Thank you, Tim. You know, for all you guys out there that like the dive style of watches, you've got those, you know, the real big, chunky timepieces for, you know, going in the water and everything. Here's your elegant one for the boardroom. Here's your elegant dive watch for going out to dinner. Give it a try.
Guys, I must place the last call on this. V as in Victor, 91562. You know, you have a really valid point that you closed with there, and I want to reiterate that. I very rarely say this about dive watches, and I think a lot of you that watch the show, even on a somewhat regular basis, would agree with me, and that is recommend dive watches for suits and for boardroom. This is one where you can absolutely do it. You can truly do it.
You're absolutely right, Tim.
All right, 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes, and then the offer's off the table. And I appreciate that thousands of you guys DVR the show. Please never stop. I love that you do, but unless you happen to have grabbed some of that DVR in real time, this deal isn't good anymore. This is at $87.58. Black is almost sold out. Now, it's still available, but very close to being sold out. So it's either the black or the silver, and that is the Aussie at a record low price of basically $87. And I'm not saying the watch will never be back, but that price will always be more than you saw tonight. You've got about 9 minutes now remaining if you want that Aussie. All right, with that stated, let's take a look at actually historically, and I don't think I've made any secret about this. This is actually one of my favorite, Larry demonstrating the ability, that very Weeble-like quality that you guys built into the watch.
There you go.
So this is to make an obscure 70s reference. That may not be that obscure, but so you bring it out in three very big power colors, very sought after. You have the black or the rose tone or the gold tone. To me, yes, layering this with noble metal, I think that's part of the story, but I think a big part of the story has got to be the extreme high-end concept that you've brought to the watch case.
Yeah, this is that real large, you know, oversized tonneau-shaped case, but it's got the aggressive curvature to wrap the wrist. You've got the curved case, the curved crystal case back, the curved crystal topside with the floating movement that's wedged into this case. This is all about the movement here, Tim. You can see right through, of course. There are no hour markers on this. It's about the movement. It's a skeletonized mechanical automatic timepiece, and as you correctly point out, Tim, a very high-end case design inspired by one of the if not the highest end Swiss brand that's out there today. Of course, you know, obviously, you know, we've made it, you know, our own way, Stuhrling. It's got the functional pillar post on both sides that actually hold this sandwich style case together. When you look at these three executions, which is the gunmetal, the gold tone, and the rose tone, when you look at them from the front, they all look pretty much the same because they have the black PVD topside and the black case back. But the main case body are different colors. Here, Tim is actually showing you the gold tone, which is layered in 23-karat yellow gold layering. And you see from the side, there's your gold tone case. There's that aggressive curvature, as you can see. Now, the Zeppelin Z2 is a follow-up to the original Zeppelin. One of the things that we did that's different is the strap. The original strap was very nice. It was a very thick, padded, smooth strap. It was very popular. But what we did here now is we went with the non-padded strap, just a thick chunk of leather with that bomber leather style, kind of a hammered finish on it, as you can see, that kind of like a bomber leather jacket. I think it was a great choice. Also on the movement, we did change the movement up a little bit in the sense that what's remaining of the top plates has been finished with that Côte de Genève striping pattern, as you can see. The original had the scroll work,
right,
as you may recall.
The vertical kind of that, I've heard it referred to as tuxedo, which I think is a great way to describe the decoration. Now, one of the things that I appreciate you guys did, and is, by the way, did you guys notice a counter? We're already over 1,550 of these gone. One of my favorite things is it's the thicker guillotine edge now that you guys do on the rotor, and also changing up the decoration on the rotor back to that tuxedo or the vertical styling. Let me interject this, if I may, just for one moment. It's my understanding that today's top value actually just went active within the last 5 minutes, at least of what top men told me was going to happen happened. So if you want, we won't have it here on the show for about another 8 minutes, but if you want to go ahead and get over to the website, this would be a very good time to snag that early, and when you see it debuting at the top of the show. You will understand why, even with as little as 8 minutes notice, you want to snag one in advance when you hear the story behind it and the production that's behind it. I assure you, well, you'll see in 8 minutes. So heads up on that. All right, back to this. About 1,600 of these gone. I suppose in a way it's gratifying to see so many of these gone because it really has... it illustrates so strongly that you have struck a major chord with this production. Guys just love it.
Yeah, you know, last time I was on the air with this piece, Tim, you know, I made a statement that this kind of design, in my opinion, is for these 20-somethings, these new millennial type of guys, these young guys that have so much money they don't know what to do with it. It's this kind of styling here for the 20s and 30s. And then I looked on the internet at our you know, friends over there at Watch Geeks, and a lot of guys were just blasting me up and down, saying, "Wait a minute, Larry, I'm 49."
You were blasted?
Oh yeah, these guys just tore me
so
up.
what's
you
up
know.
with that?
That's okay. I don't mind it, Tim.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun, you
All
know.
right.
But listen, they were saying that, you know, Larry, I'm 47. I'm 49, I'm 52. I love this watch. I can wear this watch. You know, I don't see it as something for... But hey, listen, I'm 55, Tim. You know what? I can wear this watch too. But
I think you should.
I'm just referring to the styling, okay? This is something that's a little bit, you know, out there, modern, cutting-edge design. You know, our Zeppelin Z2. I don't care how old you are. It's a great value. You know, Tim, Stuhrling Original, we are known for our skeletonized mechanical automatic timepieces, and we've got more than 100 different models of skeletons, and this is really one of the more popular ones. I'd say it's probably in the top 10 or so out of 100. And I think one of the reasons for it, even with its kind of, you know, eccentric design here, is the fact that the movement is just sitting out there. There's nothing to obscure it. It's out there for all to see. Anybody new to watchmaking, I'm showing you the gunmetal on my wrist right here. It's got that gunmetal, you know, main case body with the high polished finish. But, you know, if you're new to watchmaking, I keep saying it, there's no battery in this timepiece. You're wearing a watch that's running off of a spring the way watchmaking used to be a couple hundred years ago. It's not about telling time. It's about a commitment to your own sense of personal style. And it's so fun to get into collecting, you know, mechanical automatic timepieces and showing it to your friends. They look in there and they say, "Oh my gosh, what is that? I've never seen that before." So if you're new to Stuhrling Original, if you're new to watchmaking, give it a try and you'll join the fun, you'll join the party, you'll see what it's all about. You're going to want to take it off your wrist and hand it to your friends to show it to them, and then turn it over and show them the case back. They're going to love it, and you're going to love it. And that's what it's all about, Tim.
I know I've told the story before, but this is the not this exact model, but I own several in this series, and I was wearing one once in a high-end mall, and actually was stopped by a watch fan. Not that he knew me from the show, he didn't. He actually thought I was wearing the six-figure watch, which I thought was really fun. It's only happened once, but it was sort of a rush to have it happen, and it actually made me think of the consternation that must go on if I was actually wearing the watch that went for six figures and then somebody knew what it was.
Well, you know, Tim, you know we do a lot of inspiration pieces. We do a lot of our own original designs, too.
Sure you do.
But we've done a lot of inspirations, and I remember about 4 years ago or 5 years ago, it was something like that, you said to the owner of our company, you said, "When are you guys going to do a piece inspired by this brand?" And so, really, the first Zeppelin, you know, was kind of at your prodding. We said, "All right, let's blow Tim Temple away. Let's do one for him." And
the rest, as they say, is history.
And that's where the Zeppelin started. You challenged us to do a piece like this in this case design, and we did it. And now we've got 3 or 4 models in this case.
Guys, I got to put a last call on it. It's back in stock. 1,600 have sold. V as in Victor, 400, 122. Let's recap.
The check is in the mail, Tim.
Well, thank you.
You don't get any residuals.
And you guys are very generous. I appreciate it. This piece down to 116.56. Blue, I think I did technically call it out early. We've had 2 bounce. I'm not kidding. 2 in the blue. Orange is gone. Green, about 30 of them, I guess. 116.56, 5 interest-free payments. Also, you have got, what, 92, or we're going to actually go generous, 2 minutes to get in on this. Black is very close to being sold out, but obviously it's either the black or the silver tone. This is the bigger case, triple-step bezel, and that fantastic dial.
Listen to the right voices, and you'll make the right choices. Don't miss that one.
Seriously, that is a beautiful buy, that once only. Now, in this one, There's only a dozen left of everything.
Total.
So amazingly, all three colors have survived. So I guess that means one of those. There's
Only
probably just
100
one
total
sitting
ever
there.
made.
But 658, that's a carat of diamonds, and they only made 100 for the whole world, which has got to be one of the scarcest watches we've ever done.
Hadley Roma Alligator, genuine limited
Gorgeous
edition.
strap on it. This is a beautiful watch, by the way, and I'm glad to see it was so well received tonight. It has this natural high-end appeal. I think the colors you chose are just fantastic. A beautiful illustration that there's more to building a watch than just making, you know, like a large case or a round case or whatever. You have to balance the colors, and you guys nailed it. All right, we got to bring out some colorful animation, speaking of which, because officially today's top value starts right now. Well, you know, we've been talking about this for some time now on Facebook, for example, and what have you, that this was coming up, and there's a lot to talk about on this: the size of the watch, the design of the watch, the way the watch is colored, and frankly, among other things, the way the watches are named. Now, for the record, how they're doing it is the first color is the bezel, and the second one is the case. So if you ever get lost, just remember it goes to the bezel, then to the case. Bezel, then case. So gunmetal black, for example, here. Now, this is the, I think it's fair to call it the new series, the Prestige series from Stuhrling. Very big, aggressive look, and what a way to kick it off with a 53 millimeter. Quite a few different colors from which you can choose. I want to explain very quickly what a today's top value is, and then we'll officially get into it. In simplest terms, a today's top value is one of the strongest values, if you will, of the entire programming day. And every day at midnight Eastern time, we bring one of them out. And every day it's different. Like tonight, for example, it's a watch. Tomorrow it could be a ring, or it could be an item of bedding, or whatever, since we carry all of this stuff here at ShopNBC. So right now it's watches. And what we're talking about is not just a watch that has been specially priced, because today's top value, for those of you who don't know, is something where we work directly with manufacturers and our partners, and we work very specifically with, I guess it's fair to say, a very sharp pencil, so that we can get the margins down so that everybody gets this amazing deal. But there are some restrictions to that. I want to go over that. No today's top value lasts more than 24 hours. Tops, no matter how hot it is, no matter how sought after it is. The other thing is quantity. Let me just wrap, I don't know, let's do black and red. I'll just pick one. Let's say that one goes first. Then all bets are off. I'm not saying the watch will never be back, though it is possible, given the fact that it's a today's top value. But you'd have to choose from the other four, is my point. So again, one of the things I'd like to do here right at the top is I'll give you the color options, and then we're going to jump into the watch. Now, since this is very, very new, this was, at this point, we're still so early in it, we don't know which one's likely to go first. So let's look at what we have coming up. First up, I believe this is, this would be black silver tone. So that's the first choice, black silver tone. Following that, that is gunmetal black, I believe they're calling that one. And following that is going to be silver tone black, I believe. That's also the one that Larry has on, if you want to see it. Next to that is black and blue, which right now is in the lead, for those of you following such things. And the green one is under black. Now, I can appreciate where some of you would think, why don't you just name them blue and green? But I'm not involved in that committee. So they named them with the bezel first and then the case. Blue currently in the lead, so we'll see. But you guys, I think across the board, for anybody looking, for example, for the sport watch, for the bigger watch, certainly for the color, all of which have been huge stories in the last, I was going to say the last year, in fact, the last several years with wristwatches. Without a doubt, this is delivering. Then we get to the price, under $200. And 5 interest-free payments. And I want to turn this over to you because I know, among other things, we can certainly talk about features and the aesthetics and what you use here, but the fact that you're introducing tonight, as I understand it, a new level of production, a new series from Stuhrling.
Yeah, our Stuhrling Prestige collection, Tim, and you even see it on the dial. It's branded there, right there, Stuhrling Prestige. In a nutshell, it's the best of the best. It's, you know, our best designers design these designs. This one has actually been in the works for more than a year, our Ocean Maverick. You see the different, like the serrated edge or that kind of gear-like edge on the bezel there. This has been in the works for a long time here. But also the materials, the finest materials. It's all hand-assembled. It's all handmade. The finest components, the best designers. In a nutshell, Tim, it's the best of the best. And, you know, you say, well, gee, Larry, you know, if it's the best of the best, how can you sell it at $199 and call it the best of the best when you've got other watches that sell for more than $200? Well, this is an introductory, this is a launch of Stuhrling Prestige. Now you say, well, wait a minute, didn't you show one earlier toward the end of the year where you had, yeah, that was the, big diamond apocalypse revelation for, a couple $1,000 or $1,600. That was like a sneak peek, okay? This is actually the launch of Stuhrling Prestige. So to launch it, we're doing it as a today's top value. Don't get used to it here for, $200 here. Jim Skelton, he took some great pictures of this. We don't have them loaded, but Tim, you know what Jim said? He sent me an email. He said, Larry, you guys have outdone yourself. He said, this is the finest watch that Stuhrling Original has ever made. And I'll say it probably is the finest make of any timepiece we've ever made. You look at all the attention to detail in this timepiece. You watch guys out there. Tim, you get a tight look on your piece there, that's fine, or the one I've got, I don't care. But we start going around this timepiece, Tim, and taking a look at all the details in the dial. One of my favorite, I mean, there's so many things about it. I've studied this piece, but one of my favorite things is the hour markers. Take a look at these hour markers, Tim. The hands actually pass kind of in between and underneath the hour markers. Very unusual. You see that minute hand there that's right under the, like the 1 o'clock hour marker, okay? It passes underneath, as does the second hand. Now, the movement you might recognize, the Ronda StarTech 5040D, okay? World-class quartz chronograph movement with add and split functionality. Look at the design on these, custom-made hands. As you can see, kind of a filigree style here on these hands. Look at the dial work, as far as the texturization in the main base dial here. You see the track. But now, take a look at the bezel, the three-dimensionality of these minute markers, the height of these minute markers, the way they stand up. And then you've got those, in between, the 10-minute minute markers, you've got that, screw design here. Look at the gear-like edge that's going around the bezel. Look at the case design on this piece. Jim actually said it's the finest case that, we've ever done. I'm not going to argue with him. He's seen most of our pieces here. And I'm just sharing with it because I was really blown away by a nice email that he did send to me, and I appreciated it. But in any case, you'll also notice on the pushers, Tim, and also on the crown, you've got that extra piece, like a belt that's going around to kind of pick up the same design elements that you have on the outer portion of the bezel. The beautiful, soft silicone rubber strap is properly made. Notice the case integration, no gap whatsoever. I mean, it just, and then of course there's the overall look, Tim. It's 53 millimeters, so it's very impressive. It's not, as you point out, like to say, Tim, if you're looking for something subtle, I'll put you into something else, as you like to say.
Well, I think this celebrates the fact that it's not subtle, and I like that you guys are picking up on the boutique design. I mean, I can remember like a very exclusive boutique, FHI was doing the slanted gear design around 2004, 2005, and you guys have brought that out not only into the bezel, but actually physically down into the pushers, into the crown of the watch, and it makes absolute total sense with the personality that this has. The dial work, one of my favorite features is the fact that this is a very unusual texture placed on the dial. It's not one of the kind of, well, we'll just automatically radiate it from the center or whatever. It's almost, in a sense, kind of asymmetrical. It almost looks like there's levels that seem to step one upon the others. It sweeps clockwise around the dial. It's really clever. You started by pointing out how the hour markers are raised, and I was very glad that you did, because that's actually one of my favorite features that you guys, and there's a lot of favorite features. Yeah. It is unusual. That's one of the reasons that I liked it immediately, is the way that they physically float like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is the first watch that I can recall that's done that, but it's certainly one of the very few. and the fact that you guys are doing this now in what I consider your more superior collection, the elite, if you will, the prestige collection, the fact that, and I know you really stepped up, and I'm not going to get into proprietary stuff here, but you and I both know that this was never aimed at under $200 to the customer. The fact that you're willing to step up on a today's top value. And check that out. That's a live shot, by the way. I mean, this is actually what the watch is and does. This kind of value and just the aggressive design and how ornate it is. Guys, obviously there's a wait in the phone room for this thing. Please go to our website, ShopNBC.com. All the colors still remain available. In fact, blue is now predicted to be the one that's going to go first. We've been on this now for 9 minutes, so I guess it's fair to at least make our first prediction. But I will run down the choices, and there you can see some of the photographs, by the way.
Are those yours?
Those are mine.
You did some nice pictures there.
Thank you. Yeah, those are actually my photographs. And you know what? This was actually a real challenge to photograph. Let's talk about the get off on a photography rant for a second. Part of what was a real challenge is to, and that's not mine, that's I think one of Jim's there. So they're kind of messed around in there. But the point is, when I was shooting it, what's interesting is you want to pull the detail, for example, on the bezel, but at the same time, you want to do it without losing the detail in the dial. And when I was shooting this, it became a real challenge. Can I shoot in such a way that I show you, for example, the multiple textures in the bezel? And with that one, punch that one up for a second, that red and silver. Okay, this one. That's one that I did. Then I don't know how close we can get, but when you were looking at this, okay, that was one of the challenges. Look at the bezel. You see how there's actually almost like this, almost like laser hammering or something. I'm not saying that's what you did, but that real rough-hewn thing, that's in kind of the crevasse there. Now, if you look at the dial at the same time, can you capture that but not wash out the dial at the same? As a photographer, that was one of the real challenges to do this. But I think it really speaks to, first of all, it made it a lot of fun to shoot, and secondly, it really became one of these things. So the more I had the chance to mess around with this thing, I hadn't even seen the price yet. In fact, I didn't see the price till today. Yeah. But I knew it was at today's top value. Ergo, this is going to be unusually inexpensive for what it is. And I'm thinking, whoever owns this is going to be one of these pieces that's going to rate an almost perfect 5 out of 5. This is a fantastic watch from you guys.
Thank you, Tim. You know, I want to take a look here at the lugs if we can. The lugs are so special. You've got the extra component inside, almost like a gasket, but it's just like a design element right here. Let's see how tight we can get on that. But you'll notice how the lugs, very unusual. Now, this is the crown and over here, but I'm talking about over here, okay, that actually hold the strap, okay? You see how it comes off the case like that? And then you've got what, you know, like an extra nut that's right in here over here that holds the strap in. There's your, you know, there's your screw on there. And the rubber strap, I mean, again, custom made, high-grade silicone rubber strap on this piece. And you know, Tim, you're very big on first of series. You talk about it all the time. I watch you all the time. And you know, for Stuhrling collectors, for you guys that are part of Stuhrling Nation, and if you're new to Stuhrling Nation, you know, it goes for you as well. This is really considered to be the launching piece, our Ocean Maverick. And by the way, this is 200 meters water resistant, if we didn't mention that. So it goes to the make of the timepiece here. It is 200 meters. But the Ocean Maverick is really the launch model for Stuhrling Prestige. And that is why, you know, as a TTV, we came out here to launch the collection with a super value to let everybody get in on this piece, because believe me, there's going to be a lot more coming, a lot more news looking forward to the Stuhrling Prestige collection that we're going to see in 2011. And here's an opportunity for everybody to jump in and get the very first of series, as I know you like to say.
I'm just staring at the shot because that actually, it's one of those special angles where you can actually see. Right? Yeah, this is gunmetal black.
They're going by bezel.
Which is my favorite, if anybody cares.
They're going bezel color first and then case. So it's got a gunmetal bezel with a black case. So this would be the gunmetal black. And you know, I didn't really get a chance to talk to Alex about it. You know Alex, the manager, general manager of our factory.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, and I'll be seeing him over at Basel next month. But I've just been so busy, but I didn't have a chance. I think this bezel is an alloy rather than the stainless steel. It just feels a little bit lighter, which it's really nice. I mean, you know, for such a big watch, it's 53 millimeters. it's not overbearing to wear. It's actually very comfortable, and it's actually lightweight for such a big watch, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, the case is heavy, but you don't have a big, heavy bracelet.
Well, I think what, rather than quote what I think you're going to say, I'll just say my opinion. I think what's great about this is that because it is a 53 and so much of it was built with 316L steel, that there's a wonderful heft to it, but it's not superfluously heavy. You guys just didn't say, well, we can just add this, that, and make the watch heavier, and that's going to be a really great thing. I don't think heavy watches are necessarily a great thing. I mean, part of it is, are they balanced? Is it going to be aesthetically pleasing? Is it going to be ergonomically feasible to really sit on top of the wrist? This absolutely does. This watch is a beautiful example of a very well-made watch. Now, guys, we're going to come back to this later. We've got, looks like right now, most of the Eastern Seaboard is holding, trying to get through on this thing. We're going to move on. We will bring it out later. Again, at this point, we're predicting blue's likely to go first, followed by the black. For the record, it's called gunmetal black, which is that all-black example. We'll get to it later. Please go to our website, ShopNBC.com, and take advantage of that. All right, let's look a little bit ahead here. In fact, we're going to get to this one, I suppose, in the next 5 minutes or so. Now, you were mentioning before the show that this particular model, the Bally Grand, you guys have had a bit of a run with it, but you've done like a kind of a size upgrade, if memory serves.
Right. This is the larger version. The original was a 43. This is a 48, Tim, and we actually, tweaked the styling just a little bit, but it's the same movement with that small second subdial giving you a day of the week as well. Very exciting timepiece.
And this one, now is this double engine?
Yeah, 2 quartz movements, absolutely. 2 crowns, 2 quartz movements, dual time zone. The new Kensington Grand, you may remember the original about 6 years ago that was about half this size.
Ah, those were the days.
But no, this is...
And back then it was considered a fairly big watch.
Yeah, but this is pretty cool, Tim. I can't wait to get to the new Kensington Grand.
Some really great stuff lined up for you guys. Lots of new products, and there's going to be some of the quote-unquote greatest hits that are going to be coming out here. So you picked a perfect night to join us. Thank you for being part of the show. I appreciate it. My name is Tim. This is Larry, and welcome to Shop NBC. Welcome to the largest televised broadcast featuring wristwatches in the world. We can't do that without you guys. So really, thank you, everybody. Let's jump in, and this is the thing I just so love about this next product. A, it's a mechanical. B, it's for women.
Absolutely.
And there's so few people, well, brands, or relatively speaking, that will build mechanicals that are exclusively ladies' productions, as opposed to making a guy's version that's got some pink on it.
Well, actually, we do have a men's version of this coming later, but it's obviously it's bigger, but the movement's bigger. But Tim, and with what you just said, look at the price.
Well, there is that. There is
it's ridiculous. This is incredible. Guys, it's the Lady Macbeth. It's brand, it's brand new. It's a pure mechanical for the ladies. It's not an automatic. Now, ladies, if you're new to watchmaking, let me start by telling you, yes, there's no battery in this watch, but the automatics, which, 95% of them have the rotor, by just, you give it a wind to get it started, and just by the movement of your wrist, it's going to keep it wound. With the pure mechanical, you must wind the watch. It's watchmaking the old-fashioned way before rotors came into being, before the automatics came into being. Every day you wind your watch, and you can actually see right through the watch, you can see the mainspring, and you can see it wind up. And when you see the coil is nice and wound, and Tim is giving you a nice a demonstration of looking right through this movement, a very highly skeletonized, pure mechanical movement. What's remaining of the top plates do have that Côte de Genève striping pattern, as you can see. There's your mainspring up there at about the 1 o'clock position. Now you can see this one has a little bit of space in the coil, a little bit of space between the bands. If we were to wind it while you're looking at it, you would see that coil tighten up. And of course, with a mechanical, once you start to feel resistance when winding it by the crown, that's when you want to stop. As you like to say, Tim, it's not a competition sport.
It's really not. You're not trying to wrestle the watch into submission or something. You just wind the watch. Basically 30, 40, maybe 50, but probably not when you first take this out of the packaging. And as you rightly point out, if this does become your everyday watch, you have to wind it every day. To me, that's part of the fun of owning one of these things.
We have a lady here.
We do.
We should get this on.
We certainly do. In fact, it's one of our favorite ladies, and that would be Tanya right over here.
Okay.
So, Tanya, would you like the silver tone or the gold tone?
Here's a great shot, too. Take a look at this through the exhibition case back, no rotor.
Gold.
Now, you see that silver gear over there that had the Stuhrling original logo on it? That is, there it is. That's over on the left, that big silver gear-like, it says Stuhrling original right on. That is actually the barrel, and that on the other side of that is your mainspring. Okay, and when you wind it by the crown, you'd actually see that move. You got a nice exhibition case back here. I mean,
Tell you what,
ladies,
let me do this.
you know, Stuhrling Original has been a leader in the watch industry in the way of doing mechanical automatics and skeletonized for the ladies, and now we're doing pure mechanicals for the ladies. And I remember 6 years ago, people said ladies aren't going to go for this. They want quartz fashion watches. And I'll tell you what, I believe we've been leading the way, and other companies have followed in our footsteps. And we've done many mechanical automatics for the ladies, and we've got a Today's Top Value extra coming up in our next hour, Tim. That is another mechanical automatic for the ladies, but this one is the only pure mechanical we've ever done for the ladies. This is hot.
I think you guys nailed it with this because you went with classic case and you're doing the overall classic dial outlay. I think the way you've done this with the exhibition back and the super decorated engine was the right way to go. You make such a valid point, by the way, when you talk about the fact that it has been thought, in my view, for a long time in the watch industry, that you build all the great mechanical stuff for the guys, because for the women you just put the quartz movement in there and you put some gems on it and they're going to be really happy. That's not necessarily the case anymore. Women are becoming very, very sophisticated collectors. They understand the engines, they understand the prestige of the mechanicals and the skeleton mechanicals. And I don't think it's ever more illustrated than, for example, you're at the Basel Watch Fair and you're watching women, not as employees, but as fans of watches, attending by the thousands every
Absolutely.
single day. This is, and you're right, you are one of the brands that has taken the women that collect watches quite seriously.
And you know, Tim, when a lady is wearing a mechanical watch, a mechanical automatic, or in this case, a pure mechanical, it's a lady that says, I want to be taken seriously in the business world. I mean, you don't have to be in the business world. You can wear it just for fun. I mean, this is really kind of a fashion price at $79.81. So don't be fooled by the price.
You can spend more than this.
This is actually a very serious timepiece here, made from solid 316L steel on the case. You have a pure mechanical movement here. This is just a phenomenal pricing opportunity here at ShopNBC. Also, Tim, I think the choice of the Roman numerals, very good choice as opposed to the Arabics on this, because it is a throwback piece. You know, so I think the Roman numerals make it, give it that little bit of touch of elegance and grace, a little bit of dress. And again, for ladies that want to be taken seriously, you know, in the business world, if you're a real estate woman or you're a businesswoman or you're a judge or an attorney or whatever you are, you know, you can say, hey guys, it's not just for you anymore, okay? No battery in this piece. I wind my watch every day the old-fashioned way. It's just, it's fabulous.
Well, we've got about 10 seconds left, and they are actually almost exactly neck and neck here. So it's gold tone or silver tone, and both available in, I believe it's a 38 millimeter.
I was just going to say, I wasn't sure on the size. I thought it was maybe 36. Does it say 38?
You know what? I'll bring out a caliper and we'll just settle it right now.
38?
It is
36?
38.
38 millimeters, guys. Thanks, Tim.
Oh, the Apocalypse. Now, by the way, nice touch. I got to tell you, on the Apocalypse, because if memory serves, historically you've done it more kind of an austere, kind of a sinister color. But look what you can do with the bright stuff.
Yeah, this is the Lady Cosmo, the Apocalypse Cosmo here, and we did it for the ladies. And as you can see, all the different colors here. It's got the Swiss ISA chronograph movement on this piece as well. Solid stainless steel link bracelet.
148.22 for interest-free payments, and obviously some really aggressive color combination going on. Now, the Manchester. This is another example I just think is really, really great. Eminently collectible between the straps and the colors, and I love the oversized square you guys did.
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, my new size now. I've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them in different sizes, but with whether it's mechanical, automatic, and I also do have this one here over on the right-hand side of the screen. But I think I got to go for the yellow now. But this is that 47 by 47 millimeter version of our Manchester now, which gives you about a 53, 54 overall case equivalency on this.
And that's a good point, because for those not familiar, the square cases and the rectangles and so on, when you hear the numbers, they actually visually play much larger. For example, a 47 like that, as you correctly point out, is going to play much, much larger.
From 10 to 4, it's about 53 to 54.
Okay, let's get into some of the, I don't know if upgrade's the right word, but certainly the larger size. There's no doubt about it. Dual deploying clasp, again, all steel construction. One of the things that struck me when I first picked this up is the physical weight of it. There's a lot of genuine heft to this thing, and I guess the larger now, the 48 millimeter, has a fair amount to do with it. This is another one that, in addition to being the exhibition-backed mechanical automatic, one of the things that I think is wonderful on this is it illustrates a point that I have really enjoyed making in regards to Stuhrling as a brand for now over 10 years, which is attention to detail when it comes to dial construction. I think you guys did a fantastic job on this piece.
Yeah, well, this has that, as you like to say, the tuxedo striping, the vertical striping, very classy on the main base dial plate, but then it's got a dial template that goes over the dial plate, which is a separate piece. But what this one's all about, yeah, the design is fabulous, no question here, but the movement, Tim, this is a 22-joule mechanical automatic that gives you a retrograde pointer date hand in the dead center, coming off of the center cannon pinion right here. So I know it's a lot of big words there, guys, but you'll notice that little hand pointing to the 3 or the 4. That's the date. And to do that off the same cannon pinion, the same axis that the hours and minutes is coming, is amazing. And when it gets up to 31, it's going to snap back to 1. Typically, when you have a retrograde pointer date hand, it's on a separate arc somewhere else on the dial, not from the same center axis. Then, what really is amazing to me is down here on the subdial at 6 o'clock, and this is a new design from the original Bailey here. I like this one. I think it's a little cleaner. You've got your small second subdial. It's kind of hidden right now as it's passing behind that large minute, that large Dauphine style of minute hand there. But here it comes. That's your second hand for the watch. But off of the same axis, you've got your pointer day of the week. Now stop and think about that. Off the same axis, where one hand is making a revolution every 60 seconds, the other hand is making a full revolution every 7 days. That is amazing. This is a connoisseur's collector's piece, very elegant, very dressy. We now bumped it up 5 millimeters. It's a 48 millimeter case design. It is a true mechanical automatic, and you do have the contrast stitching on the strap just to give it a little bit of a sporty edge. One of us needs to show the case back. You want to pop it on the wrist, or you want me to pop it on the wrist?
Yeah, I'll throw it on.
You're going to pop the wrist?
Yeah.
I'll show the case back. Okay.
And while we're doing that, let's grab some calls here. John from New Jersey up next. Hey, John, welcome.
Hi, guys. How are you tonight?
Hello, John.
Yeah.
There you go. Hey, yeah, I had you drop out there for a second. Welcome to the show, John. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to say a quick word and thank you both for bringing the quality that you bring to the watch collecting world. And the, Larry, the products that you bring are just phenomenal. And I just picked up 3 of the Mavericks tonight, based on, my previous buying experiences with Stuhrling, and it's just phenomenal.
Well, thank you so much, John. That's impressive, 3 of them. I hope you got that. I'm going to say, if I have to get 3, I'm going the blue, black, and I got to get that red dial, and then, I don't know, flip a coin. But that's me.
The blue, black, the red dial, and the green.
Okay. The green, I think you ordered that as black, black, right?
Right, black, correct.
Okay.
Correct. And Larry, I don't know if you remember, but we had a personal phone call about 6 months ago where I had a problem with my first Stuhrling that I ever ordered, and you took care of it for me, and that just goes a long way to say how you care about your customer base and your followers, and I think that's just just good business. So I thank you for that.
Well, I did good, huh? Thanks, John. Really, much love to you. Thank you so much for your support.
And John, thanks for the call, and let's grab the next one up. Ray from Colorado. Hi, Ray. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to see both you, Tim and Larry, tonight.
Thank you.
I'm very excited because I watched tonight to see if I could get my second automatic ladies watch. I have the Lady Wall Street on my wrist, and I bought 3 automatics for my husband and 1 for my daughter. So I picked up Lady Macbeth tonight.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Now, Ray, keep in mind that's not an automatic. That's a pure mechanical, which is really a collector's piece. You have to wind that one.
Oh, that's all right. I can do that.
Yeah, I think you're really going to enjoy it. There are people out there, that's all they want are pure mechanicals.
Well, no, I like both, but I really like the skeletonized versions because it's interesting to see the watch works,
Sure.
and it's just wonderful quality. Really love the work that you do and really appreciate the product.
Well, Ray, thank you so much. Much love to you. Welcome aboard to Stuhrling Nation.
And Ray, great call. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your
Please wear your
support, Ray.
watches in very good health. I know we basically ran out of time here, but I think that we at least had enough to illustrate the wonderful work on the dial and also the complications, like, for example,
Yeah.
the off-the-center canyon pinion going with the retrograde snapback.
That's a
Very
real
cool.
collector's
That's
piece,
a beautiful
Tim.
piece. $169.
That's a collector's piece. Okay.
5 interest-free payments while they last. Speaking of lasting, I got to tell you, today's top value, blue, already pretty much, we're not saying it's sold out, but it's pretty obvious. So heads up on that. Now, sharper image. This is going to be on tomorrow night, Friday at 11 p.m. I own this. I use it all the time. I strongly encourage you to pick one of them up. In fact, we just had this on a couple hours ago, so it might even be available. If you don't want to wait till tomorrow, you can go over to the web and grab it. But whether you are broiling, I'll tell you right now, I do flat out some of the best Cajun pork chops of all time in this thing.
You never invited me over.
Well, just in good time. In good time.
Oh, it's in Nashville, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for starters. I mean, other than the 1,000-mile commute for the pork chops, other
I'll
than that.
fly down there, man.
All right, they'd be worth it. There's that, it's steaks, it's fries, it does veggies, amazing. Anyway, it's slated tomorrow night, Friday, 11 p.m. Eastern, and since we recently just aired it, I'm pretty sure it's on the web now if you want to grab it. You will love owning that machine. You absolutely will. All right. Let's talk about color, because I think that's one of the big obvious ingredients here. I mean, certainly aggressive, obviously Italian influence, but let's line them up. Yellow, red, green, orange, 4 of the most predominant colors in aggressive dress sport, high-end design, and you guys are delivering it.
And no explanation necessary to say which one is which, Tim.
Yeah, for once. For the novelty of it.
Yellow, green, orange, and red. You know, our Concorso series in our Sportsman's Collection truly is one of our most popular series that we have in the Sportsman's Collection. It's an auto race-inspired series. Many of you are familiar with it with our Concorso and our Monterey and our Monterey Bay and all the different ones. We have the Concorso di Tempo. Well, now we come out with the Concorso d'Italiano. We gave it a little bit of a refreshed dial design, as you can see, but you've still got that signature, you know, Arabic 12 and Arabic 6. You've got that angled flange that dives right down into the center of the dial here. But this one is all about the color, as Tim points out, and we've given it a nice, new, fresh, custom silicone rubber strap. So soft, great design on this strap as well. There's the logo right there, as you can see, custom molded. I mean, a great put your toe in the water and try Stuhrling Original here. Great everyday sport watch for the guys that want to run around. Now, this is the 46 millimeter, by the way. The original was a 44.5. Then we went to that Monterey Bay size, which was 46. The Concorso d'Italiano is the 46, the larger case size at 46. Okay, but once again, great for every day. Not all of our timepieces are great everyday timepieces because we have so many that are very dressy. This one, guys, you can wear this one to the park, wear it to the ball game, take the kids out to the store, whatever it happens to be, running around, wear it to the office. This one with the Swiss quartz movement here, and you do have the 3 hands with the date over there at the 3 o'clock position. This one is great for every day. And, you know, with spring and summer coming up, I don't know, I'll probably go, you know, orange or yellow. I know I've got so many orange watches, I'm probably going to have to go yellow on this one for me.
Well, I think one of the ways somebody might want to look into this is the school colors, for example. You got 4 of the most popular school colors here, so whether you're a supporter of a high school, college team, or whatever, that can certainly be a way to go. They're ruggedly constructed, and actually you talked about wearing these in everyday situations. I think that's a great way to describe it because I think this is a watch that was built for the real world. I think that there's some watches that are built that tend to be more for the collectors, and we, as a rule, will probably baby the watches a little bit more and so on. But this is a watch that anyone out there, whether you are a watch collector or not, you're just going to throw this thing on and you're going to go. And it looks great. It holds up.
Yeah.
It's a great idea from you guys.
And notice this. I grabbed the yellow. This yellow one is going to be mine. But look, the yellow one, you got the yellow dial, the yellow strap. But look, check it out, Tim.
With the bezel?
The bezel's got that blue PVD bezel, okay, with that electric blue on the bezel there. I mean, come on. This is awesome. Now, I wouldn't necessarily wear this with, this particular suit or anything like that, but I'm not wearing suits all the time. You know that. We go out, we eat, everything.
Not all the time.
I'm wearing jeans and a polo shirt or whatever.
The suits all the time. But
That's right.
No.
But look, it's got the striping pattern down the center. You've got those kind of skeletal hours, stick marker, baton markers that are skeletal, that dial design right here. A well-known dial design on this piece in the watch industry. I mean, this one's for everybody.
Last call on it, guys. V as in Victor, 400-611 to take advantage of it. By the way, if I understood things, I just got updated here. If you couldn't get through earlier, now is a good time to get through on today's top value. So far, it looks like the blue is still going to be the one that will go first. As a matter of fact, they're actually at this point kind of naming that today's top value after that particular choice. But you've got that. You've got, of course, that tone-on-tone black, which looks like it's going to be a very strong second at this point, and so on. New kind of a level of production for you guys and a new design on the screen. Currently, the Metropole. Now, what you don't see in this shot, because there's not, I think, a point of contrast or comparison, is how large this watch actually is.
Yeah, very large piece on the wrist. Plays about like a 50-millimeter watch overall. But this one's all about the bracelet, and the price for this bracelet is phenomenal. The finest link bracelet we've ever made. It's absolutely stunning, like a jewelry piece.
It's a pretty big statement. We did a full presentation on this one last hour, so this is sort of a reminder, but in case you weren't aware, it is back in stock. If memory serves, I think we're over 1,600 of these that have sold. It's down to $107.68. I believe all three colors are still available. With 1,600 gone, that's not always the case, but I think in this instance it is. So it is black or rose tone or gold tone, and of course many of you will obviously recognize the high-end concept in the case, and then suspended in the center is a mechanical automatic engine. And one of the things I love you guys did on this latest incarnation is adding that tuxedo approach to the decoration. Just beautiful stuff. Yep. All right, let's get into the Apocalypse. Now, the Apocalypse I am more familiar with. Is first of all much larger than this, because I think you tended as a rule to aim more towards the guys market.
Right.
And secondly, it would largely be done in a black, or it'd be done in a rose and a black, or whatever. I mean, more of an austere kind of an approach. But look what you guys do now. You bring it down to 35 millimeter. And then you bring in these really great festive colors, which let me reel them off. In no particular order, they are hot pink, chartreuse. By the way, the first time that I can recall seeing the word chartreuse actually written out on the cue card. Hot pink,
the chartreuse is the one on the right,
aqua,
guys.
Purple, and red.
Yeah. But, Tim, not only did we bring it down in size for the ladies and we added the colors, but also the link bracelet. We haven't done a solid link bracelet, stainless steel link bracelet on on the Apocalypse side for the men. Now, we did have the Apocalypse Skeletal Pro, but I'm talking about a bracelet like this, with the 3-row link bracelet. We did it for the ladies. And, one of the signature characteristics of the Apocalypse case design, of course, is the 10-sided bezel, but also is the case extensions. You have these extensions at 12 and 6 that actually give you what we refer to as covered lugs. And so most of our Apocalypse designs have either the rubber strap or the leather strap that goes underneath the covered lugs. Well, here you've got that bracelet that seamlessly goes into, underneath that case extension at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. And it gives you, once again, it goes into the covered lugs. And then you have the case extensions at 3 and 9 that kind of blow it out a little bit. But, a lot of time, for a long time, our Apocalypse now is, started about 4 years ago. And the ladies were saying, when are you going to do one for us? And it took us a while. I mean, it took us almost 4 years, maybe 3.5 years. And we finally came out with the Cosmo for the ladies on the steel bracelet with the nice colors. I would say if the colors are a little bit too much for you, probably, is it going by red on that, or what are they calling the red one, Tim?
Well, there
red.
is one that's called red, actually. I know, amazingly enough.
Red.
But
the
which,
red
for the record, is a crimson red.
Yeah.
It's not a racing red or anything
right.
like
That's
that.
Why I
love the red you chose.
That's why I wasn't sure what they were calling it. But the red might be the most straight-ahead conservative out of the group if you're not into color. I love color.
And that's aqua, I believe, on the screen.
Yeah, what are they calling it? Teal or aqua?
Aqua.
Aqua. Okay. I mean, this is great for those ladies that have the aquamarine jewelry, or have the blue topaz that's kind of in this range right here to match your jewelry. The chartreuse is also kind of neutral as well, Tim. So if you're into the color, there's the purple, of course, if you love the purple. But this case design, I think everybody should understand, particularly the ladies, truly is one of the hottest case designs in the industry. We can't lay claim to inventing it because we were inspired by it. Now, we made it our own. We've got our signature Stuhrling S screw heads going around that diagonal bezel, the 10-sided bezel. Those screws you'll see are in the shape of an S. The Apocalypse was the first model that we did where we used these signature Stuhrling S screw heads, and now we use them everywhere. You'll also notice we do have the genuine Swarovski crystals, for the hour markers. As you can see, you've got the mother of pearl dial, you've got the Swiss ISA, quartz chronograph movement on this timepiece. Excuse me, is this the ISA or is this the let me just take another look at that. Is that the Citizen?
Citizen.
I take that back.
Yeah, I think it's the Citizen 00, I think.
Yeah, no, not 00. But this is the OS 20. It's the Citizen OS 20. I caught myself on that, guys. It's not the Swiss ISA. It's the Citizen Miota OS 20 movement for the ladies here. So, I mean, again, a very reliable quartz movement from Citizen. So, ladies, I just want to impress upon you, this case design has been around for a number of years, made very popular, by a very high-end Swiss brand. We've been doing it now for about 4 years. We've made it our own, and believe me, that high-end brand, I mean, they're amazing. We all love that brand, but they don't have anything like this in the way of this kind of color for the ladies. So, have fun with this one.
Coming back to a point that you started to get into a bit earlier when you talk about the bracelets. This bracelet is, especially in this price point, remarkable. It's multiple finishes. All the links are solid. It's obvious that each link has been individually finished, and then ultimately it turns into this hand assembly that we see here. Has the dual deployant clasp. It's one of these things that when it's worn, there's no way somebody leaps to the assumption you got it for about $150. It just looks like you spent so much more than that.
Yeah,
very well made piece.
And all the color coding on this is our Duracoche finishing, which is a superior finishing process to the PVD. I mean, it's a stronger bonding process. You're really going to like that finish.
Okay, guys, lined up. They are purple, red, aqua in the middle, hot pink, and that's chartreuse out to the right. 148.22 and 4 interest-free payments. Now, the Prestige. Man, has this created a stir. I mean, behind the scenes here, obviously with the phone lines, this thing is absolutely blown up. We have two clear leaders at this point. One of them is the blue, and the other is referred to as gunmetal black, which is the tone-on-tone, if you will, all the way over to the left. But what a huge hit for you guys, and what a way to bring out the new series.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. Like I said, Tim, this has been in the works for more than a year. The engineering involved in this case design, everything about it, it's taken a long time to finally bring it here. And now we're launching a whole new collection, the Stuhrling Prestige Collection, which is really, the best of the best that we have to offer. And we're doing it to launch and, introduce it to everybody at just a ridiculous value here. So I hope everyone takes advantage and at least gets, the first of the collection. Because I'm going to tell you, as we start wheeling them out here in 2011, we're going to be seeing prices probably, don't hold me to this, we're going to see prices probably north of $500 on this collection. So, I mean, maybe north of $400 and up, but you're going to see higher prices.
Certainly substantially more than $199.
Right. So take advantage. You're getting, as you like to say, Tim, first of series, and, it's an exciting...
First of series is highly collectible. That's why I bring it up. And also, by the way, to own first of series on day of release becomes a pretty big deal, which I guess with your sales receipt, you could prove you had it. So it's a pretty cool deal. We will be illustrating that live here again in the next few minutes, but for those of you who missed it, today's top value is not only a Stuhrling as such. This is a new level of production from this great brand, and we'll illustrate that a bit more later on. There was quite a wait in the phone room earlier, and now is an opportunity to get through, be it on the today's top value or certainly on this, the Kensington Grand. Now, this, as Larry has described previously, has been released prior, but it was done in a smaller example. This case is obviously larger, but it still holds, I think, one of the real focal points, I suppose would be a fair way to describe it, and that is that this is not just a dual time, but it is two separate engines in a common housing, which is rather unusual.
Two Swiss quartz movements, absolutely, Tim. And you can see the two crowns over on the right-hand side of the case there. So you have each crown is controlling its own own dial there. Which one of the nice things about that in a dual time zone timepiece is that you can offset the times. In most dual time timepieces, you can get 24 major time zones. But you can't. There are some time zones in the world, Tim, that are a half hour off.
Yes,
with most dual time zone timepieces, you can't get those time zones because they have to sync on the hour.
Exactly.
But with this one, you can set each one individually, and so you can have a half-hour difference if you wish because of the two different movements, two different crowns, which is kind of nice. You'll notice that the guilloché soleil pattern, the texturization sun ray on the upper dial. And you'll notice that all of those hour markers that are kind of fanned around, they're graduated Arabic numerals, those are individually applied. You can see them sticking up from the dial. They're not printed on there and they're not embossed on there. They are separate pieces that are hand applied to the dial with little pegs that go through the dial, and they're sealed on the back side. You see that nice border template there that goes around both sub-dials. And then, of course, you see what we call it's a record finish, like an old vinyl record. We call it concentric circle design with very elegant leaf-style hands, down here on the sub-dial or the second time zone down here at 6 o'clock position or at the bottom of the watch. But again, here's that large size, Tim, and it looks great on your wrist right there. The original Kensington, I like to say it's about half this size. I don't know exactly. But it was considerably smaller than this with the two sub-dials. So here now it's in the larger size.
By the way, as you probably could figure out, but it's in the gold tone, which is the yellow, or the silver tone, or the rose tone. That's one of the reasons I like the dual engine pieces. You were talking about being able to offset them and things other than the hour. Is there are zones that are only 30 minutes off from the neighbor. And I used to think that those were mostly like out in the middle of the ocean somewhere, and frankly, a lot of them are. But I'll tell you one it isn't is Delhi, India, and that is a major focal point now for commerce, for business and manufacturing and so on. So I do think it is increasingly becoming important, not just to catch the major 24 zones, but for some of the zones that are not necessarily on quote-unquote the hour. And the point is that this will do it. If you wanted to offset one of these things by 13 minutes or something, you can do that. I don't know why you would, but you can. It's down to $149.81, 4 interest-free payments, a great dress watch, but it's obviously one that by definition, with being a dual engine and more of a kind of that, I suppose, exaggerated tonneau shape, really sets itself apart right away.
Yeah, and I like the size of it now because now it's really noticeable. There's other watches out there that have had this kind of vertical dial look where there's, stacked vertically, top and bottom. Not in this kind of a case design, though, but, it has become a pretty popular look in the watch industry, where you have these two different dials, top and bottom. And, this is the only watch that we have in our entire gallery, our Kensington, and now the Kensington Grand, where we've done that. And I really like what the new Kensington Grand has done with it.
40612. V as in Victor. 40612 is the item number. Silver tone, rose tone, gold tone. And I can see now that lines have lit up again in anticipation of the next presentation of today's top value. We do have open lines, or you can get over to our website, ShopNBC.com. You can review last hour, for example. One of them's not available anymore, but the rest of them, excluding the obvious sellouts, still are. But today's top value is immediately available, and I'm not sure, we're bringing out an extra one for next hour, and I don't know if that's gone hot yet or not, but the point is, you check out ShopNBC.com, you can find this stuff out. Now, this next one, this is one that I am really looking forward to adding to my collection at some point. I just love the big power look of the square case. I'm not even sure why exactly. There's just something about it. And every time I've seen a production where you guys have produced something that's akin to this, it's like, yeah, that's something I need to end up with. It's yellow, it's green, red, very big case, about a 47 millimeter. Now, I know in round cases that doesn't sound all that large. But if you look at this, in fact, this is great, very illustrated because, for example, if you think of it as round, let's take a 47. It would be measured identically. It's basically measured at the widest point of the case. So this is a 47, does not include crown pushers and so on. So if you take one of these, just draw a circle And that would be a 47 millimeter circle, which means you would lose all of the four corners immediately. And as you correctly pointed out earlier during the preview, that is why a 47 millimeter in the square, case in point, plays visually so much larger than that same number done in a circular.
Right. If you measure this from 10 to 4, a 47 millimeter round from 10 to 4 is 47. This one from 10 to 4 is 53. Okay, so this is about a 53 millimeter case equivalency. It's a lot of fun. We went large with it last year with our Manchester Aussie. It still has the same aggressive curvature that just wraps the wrist. You see the perfect seamless case integration of this silicone rubber strap, properly made here with the strap here. It's not just hanging off at the lugs here. It's got the same step design on this case, the beautiful curvature of the top side of the crystal as well. Now this one does have the Swiss Isa quartz chronograph movement. You see the date. And also, Tim, take a notice here. Take a look at that date down there at the 6 o'clock position. What color is that for?
That would be yellow.
That's yellow. Very unusual.
Wasn't 100% sure you actually wanted me to participate.
Well, the point I'm saying, Tim, is that you don't see, you say, well, Larry, of course it's yellow. The watch is yellow. But, not so fast, my friend. Let me tell you something. In the watch industry, okay, to get the date wheel to match the coordination, to color coordinate that to the execution of the watch, you must order that far in advance. You have to give them Pantone colors to the movement company.
Right.
You don't see that very often, okay? We've been doing that lately. Here's the green date wheel. These were custom made, pre-ordered, and you got to be a pretty sizable account to be able to even do that. Okay.
Well, I would imagine minimum order and something like that must run in the thousands for the wheels. I mean,
exactly.
That's a
color coordinated date wheel, guys. You don't see that very often. Go check all your watches in your collection. You'll see what I'm talking about. But you have it here from Stuhrling Original with the Manchester chronograph here. I got to try the yellow one on. I mean, the red one looks great. I've got the green one already, but I've got to get this yellow one. Check this.
Okay, that's stated. Let's get Tanya. Do you want a red one or a green one?
Yellow? I'll give a.
She wants the red one.
I'll give her the yellow one.
Nope, too late. She already picked red.
I'll give her the pink slip to my car if she wants it. Okay.
And actually, we're really up against the time limit here, so we're going to show her very, very quickly, and we're going to have to go. It's got a curved back. You've got screws in the corners. There's so much of what I think watch guys look for in case design and dial design that is wonderfully illustrated in this piece. It really is.
You know, ladies love our
on.
Manchester pieces as well because they wear like a bangle. The strap is so wide, it wears like this big old bangle, just a fashionable look right there. I mean, ladies do love our Manchester, but this is a big one, Tim.
Guys, if you want one, V as in Victor, 400-022. Notice the extra zero, 400-022, down to 113.88. I like this watch a great deal. That is just a very comfortable, big, oversized watch. All right. We're going to get to today's top value coming up here in just, I suppose, about 7-8 minutes, thereabouts. But first, we've got to show you the Metropole. Now, one of the statements that you made earlier during the preview, I'd like to open with because I didn't know you felt that way about it.
Well, it's absolutely true.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the statement. If I understood you correctly, you say that this is to date was the most complex or the most high-end bracelet you guys have produced?
It's the finest bracelet we've made on any watch, anything that we've ever done. We really set out to prove a point with this piece. It's a very expensive bracelet. If you doubt what I'm saying, get it home. Get your little toolkit out and take some links out and then take apart the links. Not only do you have screws going all the way down both sides, which we've seen that before, but you see that center link that has that satin finish on it, that black satin finish? That actually has a little screw that goes into the H-bar that it's actually screwed into on the inside. Okay, a lot of detail, a lot of engineering, a lot of workmanship on this. Then take a look at the fastening on the different links. When you take it apart, you'll see the screw that I'm talking about on the inside there that screws it together. It's sensational, and it's a very expensive bracelet. The bracelet alone, to me, is worth the price. And then on top of it, you got this big watch there. This wears like a piece of jewelry, okay? It's a big timepiece, as you pointed out, Tim, but it's also mechanical automatic. It's got what we call an open heart, not a fully skeletonized. Now, the movement is a skeletonized movement. It's our ST90089 movement that has, 20 hours, it has 20 joules, and it has about 34 to 36 hours of power reserve, and it's got 21,600 vibrations per hour, which is 8 beats per second. 6 beats per second. But you can actually see through the window that it's done, the window is done in the shape of a rectangle to mimic the shape of the case, okay, rather than usually a circular cutout there. But you'll notice that the case is curved. The top side is curved. The crystal is curved. And without that curvature, you wouldn't have the level of comfort that you do. Our Metropole Elite is one of our finer timepieces for sure. This one, this one came out separately from the others. This was actually a new execution. We have an execution that looks just like this with the white dial. This is the newer one with the black dial. This came out later.
You talk about the coordination of this. For example, the center link from the bracelet. In turn, that color carries into the side walls of the custom work of the case, and then across the dial, and then even into the rotor itself. So there's a lot of obvious thought and the color concept that's gone into the building of this. It's clearly not an example where you said, well, let's just build a large rectangle, we'll put an ordinary engine in it, and we'll do an ordinary bracelet we got lying around. There's so much more to it than that, and I love the way you were describing the bracelet, because I think it really illustrates something that perhaps isn't talked about all that much, which is bracelets as a complication in and of themselves, which they certainly can be.
I agree with you 100%, Tim. But look how dressy this piece is. And you'll notice that on those links, there's a lot of the link that's finished with a satin finish. And then right at the tips, it's got the high polish. So you really get that pop. There, see the tips are kind of with the high polish? It really pops. Very high-end look, very expensive look. Just a really nice dress, kind of a rich-looking piece here.
One of my favorite features aesthetically on this, I got to tell you, is absolutely the rectangular window inset. Yeah. Into the dial.
Well,
it would have been
Tim,
so simple to do a round one, but to match the shape was a great idea.
Tim, this is from our Metro collection in our Metro series, and it really was the Madman that launched that entire collection. And then we came out with the Metropole right after the Madman. But that entire series now, which is very popular for us, the entire Metro collection, are all rectangular cases. Big square, big rectangular cases in that entire collection. And the Metropole and the Metropole Elite was really the second and third models in the series.
Now, I've noticed that a lot of people are starting to, I don't know, clamor might be overstating it, but I do see, based on, for example, the guys I get to chat with on Facebook or various websites and whatnot, is that there seems to be a resurgence now for the more complicated bracelet. And with that, for those of you not familiar, as a rule, and I in all candor, I do think some guys tend to lose sight of this. Time and money, no object, all things are possible. You've got to keep in mind that when you want the more complex bracelets and so on, the price goes along with that. This is one of these scarce opportunities where at under $200 you can actually own a bracelet that is built by hand in a more complex fashion with individual components, multiple finishes, and so on. This is not the first time we've shown you those types of constructions and finishes and so on. But in a watch of this caliber, it's one of the few times I've been able to illustrate it at under $170, much less with the interest-free payments. By the way, ValuePay, very quickly to touch back on that for those that are just joining us and you're not necessarily familiar. It's a way to take an item and you're going to pay this out over a number of months. In this case, a total of 4 months. And ShopNBC does not charge you any additional interest to do that. So here's a great luxury watch, really eye-grabbing, beautiful mechanical automatic, exhibition back, and as we've obviously taken some time to talk about, a wonderful complexity that's been built into this particular bracelet. And you can own the whole thing at $169.83 or get it home with an interest-free payment option. Here you see it from the back. Curved top, curved back. Again, notice not only screws in the corner, but you guys are taking this to a whole nother level of production with a total of 8.
Yeah, and you look at that Art Deco design on the case back, just ideal for our Metro collection. You see the curved case back as well. You take it for granted. You say, okay, there's a plate, but yeah, it's curved. The case is curved, the crystal is curved. It's all curved. That's much more expensive to do than just a flat case back or a flat case or a flat crystal. The make on this piece is properly made, Tim.
Well, and I'm glad you're getting into that in a little bit more detail because to talk about beginning horology, beginning watchmaking here, if we can, just for a second. One of the big to-dos about this is when you're talking about curved tops and curved backs, they do cost considerably more to build. That's why you don't necessarily see them on watches within this price range a whole lot. And to be able to give you those additional advantages, some of them are aesthetic, some of them are actually physical. For example, molds to the wrist better because of the way that it's built. To do all of that, do it for $169, 4 interest-free payments, it's really a great way to go. Now, Larry and I have got to take a quick time out, but coming back after this, we are going to have only the second presentation ever of not only a brand new Stuhrling, but a brand new, I guess fair to call it the Prestige line, a brand new design concept and a level of production. So stick around. We're just taking a quick 60 seconds. We're coming back right after this.
ShopNBC is pleased to include enhanced stones among its gemstone offerings. Enhancement refers to any process other than cutting and polishing that improves the appearance or durability of a stone. Dyeing, heating, and irradiation are examples of processes commonly used. Some enhancements may be non-permanent and may require special care. Detailed information about the enhancements used on particular stones is available on our website, shopnbc.com. The vast majority of gemstones sold worldwide undergo some enhancement process to accentuate the natural beauty of the stones. The gemstone industry has demonstrated a high degree of confidence in gemstone enhancement technologies.
Okay, guys, let's get into it. I know many of you may be tuning in just for the first time to catch today's top value. It's already been up for about an hour. It is hugely successful and, in my opinion, deservedly so. We'll be getting into that shortly. What we'd like to do here is we're going to open up with a little bit of a preview, and that's stated. My name is Tim, and this is Larry. He actually helps bring us the brand we're going to feature for you guys this hour, which, of course, is Stuhrling. Larry, by the way, is going to be here for the next few days, so we got a lot of shows planned. It'll be literally throughout our programming day, so let everybody know. We'd appreciate it. This one on the screen is today's top value, but specifically it's today's top value extra. And I know from talking to your office, you guys have been very excited to see this come to the screen.
Yeah, it's been in the works for a long time, Tim, and it's, will be delivered in time for Valentine's Day. Wait till you see this. We've got extra straps with this, the quick change interchangeable straps, and there's even an additional strap set that you can purchase with it as well, but very exciting.
Down to $129 and 5 interest-free payments. Details, of course, to follow on that. Also, new today, the Viking Quartz chronograph. Now, we'll talk a bit more about quartz versus automatic later on. In my opinion, there's advantages to both, and I own both. This one happens to be the quartz, and it's down to $199.42 in a very elaborate case, not to mention dial, and 4 interest-free payments to go along with that as well. Now, this will be up in the next few minutes. Let me tell you something. If you are wondering if this is popular, over 1,600 of these have already sold. So I think it's very safe to say that, yes, it's doing rather well. So the few that we have left, we'll get to them here in the next few minutes. This is down to $107.68 and 5 interest-free payments. All right, that's stated. Let's enjoy the heralding of the TTV. Okay, since we had, to say the least, a huge response last hour, I can now tell you that we are predicting that the blue, or more accurately, I think they're going to call it black blue, that one, is very, very likely to sell out first. Now, again, we'll see. This hour, we could have an entirely different approach, and another color could just blow up. So we'll see. Right now, it is the black into the blue, followed rather closely at this point by, I believe they're calling this one gunmetal black, which is kind of a tone-on-tone. But there are 5 different ones. So probably, actually, the first thing I want to do here is explain what is a today's top value. And while I'm doing that, we'll line up these shots and we'll illustrate the colors. Today's top value, that's one of the biggest, baddest values of the entire programming day. And some days it's a watch, some days it's a piece of electronics, or it's cookware, or it's bedding, or whatever. This time around, it's a watch, and not just any watch. It's from Stuhrling, and it's a new level of production from Stuhrling, the Prestige line, which I'll let Larry speak to in much greater detail. But basically, you're talking about a higher end, to say the least, production. When you guys, as so many of you will be, based on sales last hour, get this home in the next few days, you're going to understand why we are heralding this as we are. This is one of these pieces that when you're going to take this out of the box, you're going to look at it, you're going to go, that is everything that they said it was, and it is this phenomenal value at under $200. In fact, you were telling us, I didn't know this last hour, that this Prestige line, which is a new level of production, we should be looking for prices north of $400, north of $500.
Yes.
This is really an anomaly. But what a way to bring this, exactly, to bring this and put this on a few thousand wrists. I think it plays long-term well for you guys.
Yeah, well, you know, that was the plan. That was the strategy together with ShopNBC. We're introducing Stuhrling Prestige officially with the Ocean Maverick, and we're doing it with a today's top value so that everybody can, you know, get in on it. But in a nutshell, you know, Stuhrling Prestige it represents, you know, the best of the best that Stuhrling has to offer. Our finest components, our, you know, chief designers are designing them. The components that are being used, it's all hand assembled under strict Swiss supervision. This is really, as I say, in a nutshell, the best of the best. And this particular piece has been in production or in development really for over a year. We're so proud of this, and I would say this is, you know, probably the finest timepiece that we've ever made as far as, you know, going to the just pure make of the timepiece. With everything considered, you know, the engineering, the components, the production, all of it, it really has got a lot of detail to the case. I know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, Jim sent me a nice email. He shot some of these for us, and he said, Larry, I think this is the finest watch that Stuhrling has ever made. And that really, and that wasn't with me prodding Jim at all. That was just him making that offer, offering up that statement. But now let's take a look at this piece. To me, one of the, you know, great components of this piece, of course, is the bezel. As I mentioned, I believe it's an alloy. I'm sorry, I don't know for sure. I'm just going by my own experience and touch and feel. I need to confirm that with Alex, but I believe it is. It just has the feel, a little bit of a lighter weight feel on the bezel. But you notice the three-dimensionality, you know, of those minute markers. They really stick up, which is really a nice feature. Then you've got those signature Stuhrling S screw heads going between the minute markers on the bezel. You notice that kind of angled gear-like edge on the bezel itself as well. Then we get into the case. And now take a look at the crowns and the pushers on this piece. And then they have those little jackets that kind of mimic the design of the bezel itself. You notice on the case, it's a 316L stainless steel case, all of the workmanship that goes around as far as protecting the crown and the pushers. And then you've got the lugs. Now the lugs are very, very unique here. They come off the case, and then they've got that kind of you know, kind of like a spacer that's holding that rubber strap. And it is a high-grade silicone rubber strap. It's got that chevron design going down the strap, super comfortable on the wrist. I personally am a big, big fan of the silicone rubber straps. I own many, I wear many, I love them. This one is very comfortable and very lightweight, which is a great you know, complement to this heavy watch case. So overall, it gives it a very nice, comfortable feel. Now we look at the dial, Tim. Take a look. You know, even the design on just the hands. It's got what I call a filigree style, a filigree sports style, where they're actually skeletonized hands, the hours and minute hands. But then you'll notice that all of them, of course, the hour hand's not long enough, but the minute hand and second hand will pass underneath and in between those hour markers. You notice those hour markers are like a U shape. There's something on the bottom, and then there's something on the top. And if you were to start the chrono, you would actually see how the second hand will literally pass underneath. Now, there's your tenth of a second. Yes, this is the StarTech 5040D, tenth of a second, add and split functionality. But watch that second hand as it passes underneath as it passes underneath those hour markers. And the minute hand does as well. Just a great touch. You don't see this very often. I haven't seen too many watches with hour markers like this. You've got that deep dish, the angled flange there. There's so many details. The case back, we didn't really show the case back, but it's a very nice design on the case back. A little bit of a bubble case back, not a deep bubble by any means, but a very nice design on the case back as well with the new Stuhrling Prestige logo, you know, right in the dead center. And you do see here limited edition on this. Now, this execution, it says 200? Is that what it says?
Of this color, yes.
Okay. No, okay, yeah, so this is number 8 of 200. I think the total edition on this, Tim, is 1,000 pieces. We made 200 of each, if I'm not mistaken, on the 5 executions. So, you know, only 1,000 pieces to go around, which is kind of nice to know that it is limited. And as you like to point out, Tim, so often, it's first of series. In other words, not only is it the first, you know, of a new model, but it's really the first of an entire new collection, the Prestige Collection. We're going to be doing a lot with the Prestige Collection in 2011. So it's a great opportunity here for everybody to jump in. We're introducing the Stuhrling Prestige here with the Ocean Maverick. It is 200 meters water resistant. Just, you know, have a party with this.
Well, guys, one of the things I want to do here is go over the color combinations. Because you need to know how to order it. That's why. So that's black silver tone. This one is called black black. I know you go, why don't you just call it green? I don't know. They call it black black.
They're going bezel then case, Tim.
Here's silver tone black. That is gunmetal black, which is currently second only to the blue in popularity. We are very close, by the way, to calling the blue one sold out. Just so you know, it's under the word black. Blue, and we're watching that closely. Right now, we've got the gunmetal black making a pretty big lunge, but it still looks like at this point that the blue one is probably going to go first. If you want another, something with the blue that does differentiate it, in my view, from all of the others, the blue one actually has a blue clasp. All the others, I believe, have black, except for one, which has a silver, and that's going to be the black silver. Will actually have a silver clasp. So if you want the one that's actually got quote-unquote like the colored clasp that actually matches the color physically on the actual case itself, technically all of them do it, but the one that I think is going to be the most eye-catching, of course, would be the blue, so I'll put that out there for somebody that wants it. This is all under $200. That is for today only. How can I say that? Well, first of all, it's obviously that the blue and the gunmetal black are going to sell out, but secondly, today's top value is always withdrawn no later than 24 hours after it's introduced, and when you've got this kind of a price reduction and the fact that it's got 5 interest-free payments. And then you talk about it, and you were obviously getting into this, the physical complexity. I can tell you, as someone that had a chance to photograph these over the last few days, that one of the challenges was to go after, for example, the texture in the bezel, but don't blow out the texture that's on the dial or vice versa. There is so much of a complexity when you move from texture to texture, from material to material, the different layers within the dial, moving into the hands, moving into the three-dimensional work that was done on the bezel and so on and so forth. The case complexity, this was a lot of fun to work with from a photography aspect. You guys did a beautiful job on this, I think.
Yeah, now if you like the one that I'm showing you, this is the black black. So if you like the green accents here, you're going to order that as black black. But Tim, that gunmetal looked great on your wrist right there. This is a 53 millimeter case size on this one. So as you can see, it's pretty large. It's pretty eye-catching. For you guys that like, you know, the big beefy watches, give this one a try. The Ocean Maverick from Stuhrling Original. I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. The price is certainly right for what you're getting here. The rubber strap, I'm going to say it over and over, I'm a big fan of these rubber straps. This clasp design is something we came out with just last year in 2010. I believe the first one we did it with was our Challenger in March, and we've been using this clasp. But this one has the Stuhrling Prestige logo on the center of it. Rather than, and now Tim is showing you that blue one, and there's that blue clasp right there. You can actually see, as Tim pointed out, it's the only one that's got the, although there's a silver and all the others are black, but here's the blue. Pretty
Even
hot.
the back of the case done in the blue.
Now, as long as you got the
sharp.
back of the case right
no
there,
doubt.
Tim, Does that one also say 200? I believe it does, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They're all 200 on the limited editions, and that makes 1,000 units total, and that's it. So I hope everybody gets a chance to get one of these. To at least, you'll be able to say you have a Stuhrling Prestige. It's the first of series. And 2011, we're going to be seeing more of these to come. And, Tim, you and I were talking just a little bit before the show about Basel. And this year in March, the first time Stuhrling Original, we are actually exhibiting at Basel this year. And, we're...
Congratulations on that, by the way. That's a real milestone. You're very gracious about it, but it is.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm looking forward to it, and I will tell you this, we're pushing like mad right now. Of course, a lot of things are holding us up right now, but we're pushing like crazy to get our samples of our Stuhrling Prestige in time for Basel. It's not easy to do, but we're going to have a lot of them. You're going to be seeing them here on ShopNBC. I think you'll start seeing them around, April, May, June. You'll start seeing them come out here. But now we're actually introducing it at a very low price so everybody can take advantage of this. Do not be fooled by this price, guys. This is an amazing piece.
He's, again, being very gracious about their positioning in Basel, but to give you guys a hint as to where, perhaps you're attending Basel, he is exhibiting in the same building, in fact, in the same exact neighborhood where Swiss Etta Valjoux exhibits, where Solita exhibits.
Rhonda's in there, too.
Rhonda is in there. The independent watchmakers are in there. Grubel Forsey is in there. The Germans, Navril, Zeno. I mean, you guys are in such a terrific neighborhood, and I think you're going to fit right in. You brought in some really terrific leadership from your factories and so on, and I think it's going to be a real banner year for you to roll out at Basel. It is such a statement to not only exhibit at Basel, but to exhibit in such a prestigious hall.
Thank you.
I just think that's really cool. Quick update here as far as quantities, as we're obviously counting down. We've got barely 2 minutes left here. The blue one is barely hanging in there. It is, but it's very obvious that if it doesn't sell out in this airing, I think it's probably going to sell out within the hour. But let's say it does not. There's no way this survives the night. This one, I try to be careful about this. I mean, sometimes I will say I can predict something and it's probable. This one is going to sell out. There's too few of them left. If you are interested in the, they're calling it again black blue because all the names are bezel color first, case color second. So in this case, it would be the black bezel with the case, so
Tim,
black and then blue.
This
is all but gone.
Rotate that bezel if you would, Tim. Just how smooth it is. The engineering on it, it's tight, I mean, it's really tight, smooth rotation. You do have the Stuhrling S screw heads, and you'll notice here they are blued as well. And, again,
just a sharp-looking
the way
watch,
that the
there's
strap
no doubt.
affixes to the case is just outstanding. If we didn't say it on this presentation, let me say it now. It is 200 meters of water resistance. It's properly made. There's that Stuhrling Prestige logo on the case back.
Guys, to give you an idea, there's barely 50 left in the blue-black. Or I should say black-blue.
One of my favorites is the silver-tone black.
This is going to sell out. There's no doubt.
This is one of my favorites
That's interesting. Now, he picked the one with the red dial, which we're calling silver-black, because, again, bezel, then the case. That has now leapt into the one we think is going to be selling out second. Now, last hour, we thought it was going to be the gunmetal into the black, which is this tone-on-tone guy here. We now think it's the one with the bright red dial. Based on a response,
here's that red
compiled,
dial.
Obviously,
Check
between
that
the
out.
last hour and this.
And notice how those hour markers refract the light, how they just glisten, okay? Where, again, the minute hands and the second hand, will pass underneath them, but they just glisten with the light. See that? It's just hot. All of us at Stuhrling are so proud of this piece, and you guys, George Von Berg
really
put a lot of effort into this piece, and he's our manufacturing
we
partner.
didn't even mention, I don't think, George, last hour, but yeah, one of the quiet brains behind all of this in this Prestige series is George Von Berg, and a lot of you guys will know that he did, for example, he did the first Swiss tourbillon that was ever brought to television anywhere in the world. He does, obviously, his family's brand, which is George de von Berg, named actually for his, memory serves, I think his great-grandfather. But a very, very nice guy and just a brilliant guy in the watch world. And what a wonderful partner for you guys, no doubt. Very, very cool. Oh, speaking of cool, we're about to show you guys a tonneau case. Haven't had a tonneau on the show in forever. That really takes color to an extreme. The Madison. Now, this is a very, very elegant case combined with an elegant dial. That stated, they do just enough kind of an eccentric approach to this to make it very visually interesting. On clearance, this is going to be a must-own. It is $119.49. Now, at clearance, does this mean that you guys, that's it on the on that production, or no? Or do we know?
On this one here?
No. On the Madison with the clearance. We'll get back to it.
That's definitely not
Larry
gonna be
off guard.
No, that's not going to be it. That's a staple with us. You know, we've done the Madison Avenue. Now the new one, the Madison, is larger. That's not going away. That's an elegant piece for us.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece. You guys have done a fantastic job with that.
Yeah.
Heavy sport piece on the screen with the poly strap, as you guys can see, either red or the blue. And that time around with a quartz photograph engine, 224, 26, and 4.
The Admiral has
after
been
3
here
payments.
before, but those two executions have never been on ShopNBC before. The red and blue.
I have to say, this particular visit, you guys are bringing a lot new to the table. Either something that's relatively new, or in some cases, right down to even the prestige concept, something that's very, very new.
Yeah, we are definitely loaded for bear on this rotation, Tim.
I think this piece is great. I think this is going to be almost too much color for some guys, but I don't care. I think this piece is absolutely fantastic. It actually celebrates color right down to the whole concept of what appears to me that you've even added pigment physically to the physical crystal of the watch.
Yeah, absolutely. These are tinted crystals on a Millennia Savant. You've got the the canvas style of strap here. With this, it's actually a sandwich style strap. But here, this is our, many people know the Millennia, but this case size is the larger case size, the XT size. The original Millennia was about 4 millimeters smaller than this one. So this is the larger case size, and what we've given you here is the tinted crystal. So you have the red, blue, and the yellow. And it is a skeletonized mechanical automatic. It's got our ST90050 movement in this timepiece. And we've got some nice photography here. This has got the blue tinted crystal right here. But again, this is one of those designs that I refer to for those new millennials. And that's really where the whole millennial series began, is with this Millennia case design, or millennial case design. And it's got the triple grooves on the side. It's a very well-proportioned tonneau-shaped case. A tonneau-shaped case, to anybody new that's watching, never, new to watchmaking, is like a pickle barrel, and shaped like a pickle barrel. And it's in watchmaking, it's kind of an elegant case design. And here, it's very modernized. You've got the triple grooves on the side, which is done with CNC machining. And if you take a look at the side, you'll actually notice that down in the bottom of those grooves, it has kind of a rough finish, while the top has got the high polish. And then on the top of the case, you've got a satin finish going around the bezel. But you can see right into the movement. You can read the time clearly. And this is, the Savant is the version of our Millennia that has the tinted crystals. And tinted crystals are very, very popular right now in the watch industry. They have been for a couple of years now. And I'm sure as we go to Basel, we'll be seeing, quite a few more of the tinted crystals all around, building 1, building 2. We'll be seeing them.
Oh, no, there's no doubt. I mean, look at some of the early German influences from a few years ago, and it's obviously really captivated, I think, both the consumer and the collector. I think the collectors wanted it because they understood it a bit more of the science and the difficulty. I think the consumers wanted it, frankly, because it's extremely eye-catching. And this is a great example thereof. Yeah,
when we first did the original Gen X, we did a red tinted crystal, and it was the only one that had the tinted crystal, and we couldn't keep it in stock. The red flew. And so red tinted crystals typically, are the hot item. But I'm going to tell you right now, for me, I'm going for this one that Tatiana is wearing over here.
The yellow?
I love this yellow one, absolutely. That'd be my choice here. You know,
there's three very strong choices. I'm tending to think I'd like the yellow in my collection as well, but there's three very strong choices. I think the blue balances off of the black very, very well, and I think that would have been something to actually mess up on pretty easy, but you guys absolutely nailed it. Now, instead of a complementary relationship, I think when you get to the red, I think you guys pull the black and you do a stark contrast against the red, and it just becomes this fantastic, literally a ruby red. If you're familiar with pigeon blood ruby, it actually looks very, very much like that. Extremely eye-catching on the wrist. And I think that's one of the things that this brings that is such a huge advantage, is that it actually celebrates color. Instead of having color just be a part of the watch, this celebrates color to the point where the back of the strap is the respective color. So it's either red or blue in this instance, or what have you. And then you sweep up into, of course, what I think is the big story, which is that colored crystal, which now, instead of just making the dial the color, literally the color floats in space because of the crystal. I think that's a really great idea.
and you can still see all of the different multi-level of components here on the dial itself. You've got that dial template that's going around. You've got the applied indices as well with the, you know, the 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. You know, all the different pieces that are applied. Then you've got that flange going around the outer perimeter of the dial with the second markers and minute markers going around. Again, a separate component to that. Here's that guillotine style of rotor that you talked about, Tim. You've got the you know, beveled edge on the case back as well with the screws in the four corners here. But that's the ST90050 movement with the 20 joules, 34 hours power reserve. You've got the brushed finish on what's remaining of the top plates here. And once again, anybody new to watchmaking, there is no battery in this watch. It's running off of a spring, just like in the old days. And, you know, so many people love to collect these. And, you know, our Millennial is a very popular series now. I think we have, I don't know, at least 8 or 9 different models in the Millennial series.
Now, you mentioned the popularity and the demand for the colored crystals. Can you talk to any of the ideas that you guys have for 2011 that's going to feature this, or no?
You know, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I don't know. I honestly don't know. As you know, Tim, I don't really get that involved on the creative side or the production side, and probably thank goodness for that. I have my hands full on the marketing and distribution side. But, you know, sometimes they might ask me my opinion when they have, you know, 10 different choices for executions, and they may say, which ones do you think? And then I'll say, I like this one, and this one, and they choose all the other ones because, you know, if I like it, you know. But anyway, I'm just kidding around, Tim. I really don't know if we're going to be doing a lot more of the tinted. I haven't had time to look ahead.
I don't know, possibly in
You know,
Basel.
when I get together
We'll
in
see.
Basel with George and Alex, and, you know, we take a look at what's happening, I have a chance to, you know, talk to them at the show, you know, I'll find out more.
On the screen from Sharper Image is the, they call it the Super Wave Oven with the extender ring, so it's a long name. I heartily recommend this. I own one myself. I use it all the time. I have discovered I can do this the greatest Cajun pork chops in this thing. But it does baking because it basically amounts to a convection oven, but it also uses infrared technology. It uses cyclonic air. It's a fantastic concept. You can dehydrate in this thing. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm told it's very, very easy to do. So you do anything from some of the finest fish, because that's something that is actually deceptively difficult to cook because of the different thicknesses. This covers it. It's an amazing machine. I use it all the time. I highly recommend it. It's going to be on at noon Eastern time. It'll also be back on tomorrow evening at 11 p.m., so do check that out. Now, we have the Today's Top Value Extra coming up, and I will tell you that you may very well want to add this. In fact, I know this is something that specifically that you referred to before the show. Pretty excited about the new strap collection.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, you know, we've done some interchangeable strap sets where there's like, you know, maybe one extra strap or even two. But, you know, we're throwing our hat into the ring now with some of these sets. And we made this one specifically with Valentine's Day in mind. And this is what we're seeing here is the upsell. Now we're going to get to the real deal.
Well, what you're seeing is the premiere of today's top value extra. So a lot of the parameters that apply, of course, to today's top value would apply here. Now, today's top value, of course, was the debut, as I understand it, of the Prestige series from Stuhrling. It's been a runaway hit. You guys have all but sold out that black blue one, by the way. So real heads up on that. And if time allows, we'll get to another live presentation within the next 30 minutes. And again, I say if time allows, I'm not 100% sure. But in the meantime, we're going to move on to this one. This, to me, is design-wise certainly almost the antithesis thereof. I mean, now we're moving away from the big 53 millimeter, very aggressive in-your-face design. Now let's go, I don't want to say understated because the position of the stones and so on, but you're definitely moving into a dress mode, and obviously for the women in this instance, 3 different finishes. In this particular instance, we're talking about a gold tone and a silver tone and a rose tone, so obviously we are once more talking about something that is really, in my estimation, speaking very strongly to the classic concept and design. So again, gold tone, silver tone, rose tone, classic size as far as the case is concerned. And last hour, over the last 2 hours actually, we were talking about that you as a company, what Stuhrling has, not just recently, but for a long time, you have taken the women's market seriously, the women that love watches, the women that collect watches, and you understood years ago that they are sophisticated, they appreciate the complexity of the mechanicals, and they're not just satisfied if you take, for example, a simple quartz engine and you put it into a simple case. I mean, they want the complexity, and in this instance, I think whether from an aesthetic standpoint, a classic standpoint, the layering of noble metals, there's so much going on here, including that it's a mechanical automatic.
Well, yes, Tim, you're absolutely right. You know, mechanical automatic for the ladies in a 36 millimeter case design, but it's a skeletonized movement, okay? Again, this is something that we're leaders in the industry in doing. We have been for about 6 years now. And with this one, the complete dial is not skeletonized, but we have what we refer to as an open heart, where you're revealing the balance wheel. And typically on our Audrey series, it's been in the shape of a butterfly. But for Valentine's Day, make no mistake, this is the Audrey case with the Audrey design of the 12, 3, and 6, but we've done it in the shape of a heart. And so when we talk about open heart, I mean, this one really is an open heart because the reveal is done in the shape of a heart. A lot of ladies like the heart, and yes, those are genuine Swarovski crystals going, on the dial, around the bezel as well. Solid 316L stainless steel case, and you'll notice it comes in, we call it the love story because it's like a book on a shelf, and it opens up. You can put it on the shelf as a book. It's got the elastic to hold it, and then you've got the whole strap set. You can see the colors here, with the peach and the white, the lilac, and the really, just kind of a candy red. I mean, and all of these straps, including the black ones that come on the timepiece, are this really high gloss. I mean, patent leather style on the strap right here with the quick change pins. Just phenomenal. And there is an additional strap set you can purchase if you want for 4 additional straps that have a little bit of a different design on them. These, have the, kind of like a lizard style of embossing on this.
And these also, if memory serves, have the quick change pins on them.
Right.
So there's not going to be any tools required.
No tools
somebody
required.
wants to jump in the strap changing. You've probably seen it done in jewelers at some point. Not necessary here. For those of you who don't know, a quick change pin means you can literally change these out with a fingernail. That's all it takes. It's real simple, a little bit of practice, and you'll have it down to just a few seconds. I have to say, I like the presentation of the book. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I love it too. I think it's, the first time we've done something like this. With custom packaging where, something different here for the strap set. But I think for Valentine's Day, it's absolutely perfect because it does have the heart. But it's not just a trinket or a bauble. It's a very serious timepiece. You can see there's your balance wheel that beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour. You can see the pallet fork releasing power onto the drive train on the regulator wheel right there. You see the smooth sweep of the second hand as it's passing by right there, which is characteristic of a mechanical automatic timepiece. There's your Arabic 12, 3, and 6 that are filled with the Swarovski crystals. There's your very elegant leaf-style hands that you have on this piece. And this case is a nice-sized case for ladies. It's a 36 millimeter case design, and I think you're going to show them the back of the case there, Tim. I caught you.
Well,
and
let's show it
there
from
it
the
is.
back, from
This
the
is
front.
our
Look at that.
ST90089 movement on this piece, which is really our higher end movement on our three-hand skeletonized, is the ST90089. You can see that even the rotor has been skeletonized and engraved with the scroll work here. You know, ladies can be taken seriously as well. There's no battery in this watch. If you're new to watchmaking, ladies, it's running off of a spring. And you just give it a wind by the crown to get it started. And then just by merely wearing the watch as you go about your daily, you know, chores and duties and tasks, it's going to keep the mainspring wound just by the movement here.
Now, you mentioned earlier the Swarovski crystals, and I want to come back and talk about this a little bit from the front of the watch, because one of the things that Swarovski crystals do, and I think it's a very fair question for those of you new to this, you're going to go, you know, what's the big deal, is that they beautifully replicate the look of diamonds. Now, again, I want to make this very clear. I am not telling you that these are diamonds. In fact, I am telling you quite the opposite. They are not diamonds. These are Swarovski crystals. But because Swarovski crystal so beautifully emulates the way that the light plays to a diamond, what in the industry is referred to as fire when you look at it in the world of gemstones. This is going to give you the look of solid gold with diamonds, and then, of course, the mother of pearl. Now, the mother of pearl in this instance is the real deal. This is the actual mother of pearl. We have a very accurate layering of the yellow gold, and then you add to that the Swarovski crystal, and it really gives you the look of opulence. And I think that's part of the point here, is to give the look of luxury, you give the look of opulence. And as Larry has correctly pointed out, and it frankly happens to be one of my favorite features about this as well, which simply is, this is a genuine mechanical automatic built for women. And I have seen the ones, I just refer to them as the fake ones, where they, and some of you will know what I'm talking about, they're really a quartz engine, but then they put like a few fake gears or something on the dial, and that's somehow supposed to fool somebody into thinking it's a real mechanical. This is the genuine article. It's a true mechanical automatic. It has a very elegant, yet sort of a whimsical way that it shows that through the dial with that larger heart shape, as you can see at the 9 o'clock position. And again, you add to that the Swarovski crystal, giving you the look of the diamond. You add to that the genuine mother of pearl. You layer it in either the rose gold or the yellow gold, or if you want the straight ahead polished silver. It gives you a spectacular look, and then you bring the price down to just $129.74. And with the 5 interest-free payments, guys, you can get this home, and I believe if you order right now, Valentine's Day is not a problem.
Tim, I just did that
$26.
with my torn ligaments in my wrist.
You see, he did, by the way.
I did
I'll
it. If I could
witness
do it
that.
with my torn ligaments, guys, then you can do it, because I'm not the most, I don't have the best dexterity, but, and I don't have my glasses either. But it does pop pretty easily.
So basically, with torn ligaments and no glasses, you achieved
I did it.
changing the strap.
I did it, really, crossed my heart. But
That red is
look at that
sharp,
red,
by the way.
I mean, on the silver tone case. I mean, it gives it a whole new look.
Incidentally, and I'll mention this in closing because this would be important to me, the buckles and all of those interchangeable straps match the color selection. So yellow gets yellow, rose gets rose, and white gets white, and so on and so forth. So, cool. Grab them while they're here, guys. $129.74, 5 interest-free payments. V as in Victor, 400-173. Now, actually, I got to talk to our director and producer very quickly. Are we going to show this before the top of the hour or no? No, we're not. That's interesting. Blue, pretty much gone, guys. I mean, it's technically available. You know what? I've got about 15 left in the blue. And there's only 200 in the world. We own all of these, by the way. So you get black, and that's the one if you want the green, obviously. It's bezel case is how they name them. So there's blue. I'm telling you right now, it's about 15, 16 of those left. Silver tone black, that's the one with the red. That's predicted to now sell out second. Gunmetal black will probably go third. I think the majority of these are going to sell out. I would say right now, based on velocity, blue black's a given, obviously, with 15 left. I still say gunmetal black is probably going to sell out before the end of the day. That's just, that tone-on-tone thing is really,
Don't
really
miss
cool.
that, guys.
And that red dial
Hey.
is an obvious.
They expect me to say it. I got to say it. Listen to the right voices. You'll make the right choices on today's
Well, if
Top
the
Value.
audience expects it, then I think you should deliver your catchphrase.
Okay, you got it, Coach.
Yeah, well done.
All right.
Before the top of the hour, I will show you this. I'm not saying there's a ton of them, but I'll put it this way, over 1,600 have gone. But hey, apparently all three colors still survive. 107.68.5 interest-free payments, and that's another example of a great contemporary mechanical automatic. Now, moving into this next one, this is an example. We've talked a lot about mechanicals tonight, which, by the way, is kind of refreshing because we don't do a lot of mechanicals. We do more of the automatics.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about quartz. And what I love about quartz, by the way, and I think maybe this is a good place to start, is I know we talk, and I think for good reason, we talk about the mechanicals and mechanical automatics and so on and so forth. What's really great in my estimation about quartz is that, A, they're maintenance-free for the most part. And again, we're talking in broad strokes here. And clearly, if you own some of the very complex high-end stuff, it's a different animal. But if you are looking for something that's maintenance-free, and you want something that is incredibly accurate, which I would think would be an advantage in a timepiece, then quartz is where I would tend to put you. You don't have to worry about maintenance. You don't have to send them in for to have them checked and calibrated and the lubrication or any of that noise. And basically, you're going to throw a battery in them about every 3 years or something like that, and you're going to be fine. Now, in this instance, we're going to talk about a black or a gray, and obviously there's going to be accents, and to be exact, the black, I believe, gives you the yellow, and then
No, the black will give you the orange.
the other way.
accent.
Okay, the black gives you the orange, and then the gray is going to give you guys the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of these examples where I think it's a really nice nod, getting into I think some of the like the race-inspired types of watches.
Yeah, very much. And this is actually from our water sports collection. It's from our Seafarer series. This is the Viking.
Mm-hmm.
And this is big, Tim. I'm not sure what the card tells you over there. I think it's like 55, if I'm not mistaken. But rather large piece, kind of an urban style here. This is, really an attention getter. Now, this is the StarTech 5040D. So you've got a world-class quartz chronograph. Take a look at that 1/10 of a second hand down there at the 6 o'clock position, just flying around. Now, one of those three prongs has a tip with a different color there. I mean, this one might have a white tip or something like that. But this is an added split function quartz chronograph, so you can do split timing with this as well. It's made with all metal parts. It has 6 joules. It's completely repairable. Now, you'll notice when the large second hand passes the 6, the 1/10 of a second is going to stop. It goes into power-saving mode. However, now, Tim, if you were to push the bottom pusher, okay, the bottom one, or you push the top one?
You want me to stop it first, or you want me to just hit the...
Well, did you already stop it?
No.
Here, push the bottom pusher. Now, you see, it still continued to track 1/10 of a second, even though it had stopped. Now, watch this. As we're talking for a few more seconds, Tim is going to push the bottom pusher, and watch that big second hand. It's going to jump ahead to where it would have been had we not stopped it. That is called split timing. Not all quartz chronograph movements will do that to give you split timing. For you guys in track and field that like to get your splits, or in sports that like to do your split timing for your laps or whatever, that's a great feature to have, is to do add and split. But that sub-dial at 6 o'clock also will give you a 10-hour totalizer as well with the StarTech 5040D. But now look at all the design elements on this piece. You'll notice those hour markers with the luminous, the luminous dots there, that superluminova. Those are actually raised. Look at the three-dimensionality of those. They're individually applied to the dial. Look at all those little, sub-dial templates right there, those border rings. Those are separate components added onto the dial here. A lot of different elements. This is all hand-done, hand-applied. You even see the angled flange going around with the minute track as well. Very large timepiece, Tim. Are we going to see this on your wrist?
I certainly hope so. I have placed it there. I did my part. It's on there. Larry's increasingly concerned.
No, but you see, this is a large piece. This is a big one, okay? And this isn't for everybody, okay? But if you like those big urban style pieces here, did the card tell you the case size? I think it's 55.
They show 53.
Oh, 53?
Over 50, for sure.
Maybe I was measuring with the crown then back in the office, but yeah, this is pretty big. They do say 53, then we'll take what the card says. But you see, even the, on the dial here, that is I don't believe it's carbon fiber, Tim. I think it's just a texturization pattern. that looks like carbon fiber.
Yeah, I think it is, or it could be woven glass, but I think this one is actually a texture.
Yeah, I think it's just a texture.
You know,
dial.
without throwing a
Right.
scope on it.
But nevertheless, you know, again, you see the three-dimensionality, how all the different components are just rising up off that dial. A very, very, you know, wide. There's that luminescence with the superluminova I was talking about, but very wide link bracelet on this piece. And that's what we've
This is
got
really
here.
a
The
beautiful
Viking
watch.
from our Seafarer series in our water sports collection. And it does have the push buttons on the clasp as well, Tim. I like to point that out when we have it because we don't always have it. But this one does have the push buttons on the deploying clasp.
Sculpted back. This is just, it's a sharp watch, and I like the fact that you've gone with the run the StarTech because it does things like the split timings, and you did a great job illustrating that earlier. Not something that you're going to see by any means in frankly, most chronographs, in my view, in the industry, and to get one in this price range with that level of dial complexity, it's a really great idea. Hey guys, stick around because there's a whole lot more. We've got not even 20 minutes, more like 15 minutes to get it all in. So we've got a lot to discuss. However, that stated, first, we must take a quick time out because the lovely and talented Christine is standing by. Check this out.
Well, hello. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Hi, Larry. You guys are having a good time with those watches. Now, coming up in 17 minutes, I want you to stay tuned because we'll have an hour of jewelry clearance, something for every taste, every budget, and we're going to start the hour with this masterpiece. Now, it is a set of 12. As you see right here, this is what you are going to get for $89.98. We're also giving you 5 months to pay for this on any major credit card. So check that out. 5 value payments, $18. We have Howlite. We have Australian Zebra, Aventurine, Labradorite. There's so much to talk about. 12 of these power beads from Chuck Clemency. You can get that home for $18. Remember, all 18 of these stretch bracelets. That's just one of the great items that we'll have in the hour of jewelry clearance. So with that, I will toss it back to you, Tim and Larry.
Hey, thanks, Christine. And if you have not watched her, you're missing out. She is a terrific lady and a great host, and you guys will see why I feel that way at the top of the hour. My name is Tim. This is Larry. Let's talk about some more stuff. I really like this case.
God.
I think
now
this
I see what you were saying. The clearance price. I missed that.
Yeah. What
No,
was it saying? Clearance on all.
No, I just got.
Well,
by
I'm in
me.
the minutia, and so you know sometimes I dwell on it.
That's a pretty amazing deal right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we're talking about at clearance, and one of the reasons, just to be fair, you guys need to know that we've held it this deep into the night, is that there's not very many of these, but that doesn't change the fact that this is a real buy. This is sharp, and the extreme detail on the dial, case in point, it is one of the things that's most illustrative. 11949. What can truly be called a fancy case, which is actually an industry term. It's something I coined. And it does greatly add to the cost, which I suppose is one of the reasons it's referred to as a fancy case. The point is, it's at 11949, 3 interest-free payments. I'm going to grab a quick call here, and then we're going to get into some of this in-depth. First, Debbie has been holding from Tennessee, and we welcome her to the show. Hi, Debbie.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We
Hi,
are
Debbie.
great. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing good, I think.
Okay,
That's good to hear. Whereabouts in Tennessee, by the way?
Outside of Nashville in Lebanon.
Sure.
Okay.
I also live outside of Nashville, so I can appreciate right where that is.
Oh, okay.
Well, welcome to the program. I guess I'm going to ask you the obvious question, which is, what have you picked out for yourself?
I purchased the black watch with the tinted dial or the tinted crystal on it
Yeah.
in the blue.
Fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. I love the skeletonized watches, and I got it for my husband for Valentine's Day.
Wow, he's going to dig it.
Yeah, I think so. It's just really cool. I have not seen watches like that anywhere around.
You know, Debbie, I got to tell you, I've only seen them a handful of times myself, and I've never seen them, especially in a mechanical automatic, as you can obviously appreciate in that price range. It's a great snag.
Yeah, and also I love the tinted crystal on it. It's
Sure.
great.
Yeah, it's a very hot thing in the industry. You know, Debbie actually raises a very good point, Tim. We take it for granted sometimes when we see these watches, you know, on ShopNBC after, show after show. You don't go to a mall, you don't find this kind of stuff in the mall.
Well, I think we do sort of have an advantage between the buying power, and we can bring out 60 watches in a couple of hours if we wanted to, stuff like that. Debbie, great call and an excellent choice, and we wish both of you a very happy Valentine's Day. Almost no time left, but I want to get your
Well, all right, the Madison. I mean, this is the larger version of the Madison Avenue. Very elegant, very dressly,
Look at that
very well proportioned Tenoche case, but the lugs, the shoulders for the lugs is what makes this one. But take a look at the dial work here with the guilloche soleil in the center and then the swirled sunray on the outer portion, all individually applied numerals. It's a mechanical automatic with quick set day and quick set date. Very elegant, very dressy. I mean, at this price, guys, listen to the right voices. You know the drill.
Last call on it. All three colors remain available, but not by much. 400-232. Looks like blue, I believe, is going to be the one likely to go first. But we'll see. That's what it stands at right now. Barely 10 minutes left here, guys, and a lot to cover, so let's leap right into the next one. This is another one of these pieces that not only is it not subtle, but it actually celebrates that fact. And I appreciate that because I actually get kind of annoyed when a watch is on one hand not subtle at all, but somehow design-wise I like to pretend that they are. And this goes quite the opposite. It actually celebrates the fact that this is an exceptionally large watch. Now, this is one I'm actually going to bring out the caliper on because the official measurement says 52.
I think it's 53. It's 52 or 53. I'm going to say 53,
Tim.
Tim.
Really? Yeah,
but,
you know what?
What?
Dead on 52, sure.
Yeah, it's a big one. But you know, Tim, this is our Admiral. We've had it on ShopNBC before, but not the blue and the red. This is the first time the blue and the red have been here on Shop. We had the orange, we had the green, and we had the black. Now here's the blue and the red. This is truly one of our finest of all time. It might have been our finest make in 2010, in my opinion here. Take a look at the rubber strap. We celebrate these rubber straps. We're so proud of them. We spend so much money on these custom molds and everything else. But this one is completely unique here. But this timepiece here, the Admiral, it's from our water sports collection, our Regatta series, is completely unique. It's got the 12-sided bezel design, the dodecagonal bezel here, but then it's got this, you know, kind of navigational, you know, this yacht style. I mean, take a look. It's got that compass style small seconds indication over there at the 2 and 3 o'clock position here. It's got a screw down crown. This, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, our Admiral was our very first 200-meter water-resistant timepiece that we ever made. I'm going to pop the red one on. It does have the Duracoche finish on the bezel and the pushers. The pushers are, you know, designed, you know, integrated fantastically into the, you know, design over here on the side of the case here with the crown, the whole crown assembly over here. But, Tim, this is a boardroom-style piece. There's that clasp design we were just talking about with the new Stuhrling Prestige Ocean Maverick, but that one has the SP on it. This is a new clasp design from 2010. But, Tim, you know the watch this is inspired by. Now, the one we took inspiration from on this one, theirs is not this big, and we made, you know, quite a few changes on it. But the case design is what we're referring to here. And we're really, really proud of the Admiral as one of our finest in 2010. And now, for the first time, the blue one and the red one here on ShopNBC. Guys, and by the way, this is the StarTech. This is the 50. Is that a? Let me see here. Just let me double check it. Yeah, this is the 5030D on this one, which gives you the 12-hour counter down at the 6 o'clock position rather than the 10-hour counter.
Which means, by the way, that this can, in elapsed time with a chronograph, record up to 12 hours for those of you that don't necessarily speak watch yet. And it's really a pretty straight-ahead thing, and it's a good point to bring up because some of them, of course, will do up to 10. This one does up to 12, which for some collectors is considered an advantage. Yeah. I think color is one of the big stories here. Once again, the color runs so very, very rich, very vibrant, very deep. I don't think the colors play garish at all. There's just a regal kind of an intensity that goes on whether you're choosing red or the green, or excuse me, the blue.
You know, I think at one time we had some high-res shots. I don't know if we had them on the red, though, or the blue. But if they're in there, I'd love to see it. But if not, then we don't have it. But also, Tim, these hour markers, they're on like these silver plates. You see that? And they refract the light so beautifully. They really do. It makes a big difference on this timepiece here. Very elegant, very dressy timepiece. One of our finest here. And by the way, with the StarTech 5030D, you also get add and split functionality as well. You can do split timing with this. Really a world-class quartz chronograph movement. Once again, all metal parts, 6 jewels, completely repairable. We love the Ronda StarTechs.
But very quickly to touch base on that, again, some basic, actually sort of intermediate stuff, and for those not familiar with quartz movements, the majority of quartz movements, in other words, the movements that run off a battery in the world, are not repairable at all. In fact, they're actually designed that should they have a malfunction, you just replace them. And
Right.
so when you get ones that are built to a higher level with jewels that are actually repairable, it becomes much more collectible. It becomes, for many collectors, much more interesting. And then to add the split timing capabilities, you rightly point out on that. Smart move. Speaking of smart, we will not be showing this live. And I'll tell you right now, I think if you want that blue one, I think there's like 6 or 8 left. That's it. Closely behind that is silver black, which actually translates to the red dial, and then gunmetal black. There's a handful of that. So at least 3 of the 5 colors realistically are going to be sold out before too much longer. And blue is going to be gone probably, literally, now that I've told you there's 6 left, probably in the next 6-8 minutes. And that's it. Congratulations on a huge hit on your new Prestige series, man. That's great.
Well, you know, it's not over yet, Tim. It's not over till the fat lady sings, and you know the way I am. I'm going to take it all the way to the end until they're gone. You know, no more Mr. Nice Guy, Tim.
And you're also a fan of opera, so it just kind of all works out.
That's right.
This one, the Today's Top Value Extra, Mother of Pearl Dial, Swarovski crystals, really giving you that opulent look of diamonds. Gold tone, the one in the middle, by far the closest to being sold out. And that's based on it just debuting within the last relative few minutes. So it looks like that's going to have a big run today, too.
Gift.
It really is.
You know, you got your daughters and your sisters and your mothers, your wives, your girlfriend, whatever you have. I mean, ladies in your lives, a great gift item.
Okay, we got one more presentation for you this evening before Christine's going to take over, and we get to show you the Zeppelin. I learned something from you tonight. I did not realize that we're going back a few years here, that this whole concept resulted from me suggesting that you guys do.
You just forgot, Tim. You know, you're getting forgetful in your old age.
Well, that may be.
You know, you're getting very forgetful in your old age because you really did tell us, you know, to do this.
Oh, I'm not doubting that I told you. I'm just kind of surprised.
So we said, all right, we're going to show that guy. We're going to show Tim that we can do that. And so we took inspiration with this case design. This is a very large, oversized tonneau-shaped case, but you'll notice it's aggressively curved. A tonneau-shaped case, if you're new to watchmaking, is like a pickle barrel. And in watchmaking, you see quite a few of these cases. This one's a large one. And you'll notice the curvature of the case, so it wraps the wrist. So you have a curved case back, you have a curved case main body, and a curved top side as well. And in the case back, you've got a curved crystal, and you've got a curved crystal on the top side as well. And you'll notice those crystals, not only are they curved, but they're cut in the shape of a tonneau shape. So you have a lot of customization work on this piece. Those are functional pillar posts right there with the male and female screws that go through there to hold the actual sandwich style case together. Now Tim is showing you the gunmetal selection. All of these cases, all 3 color choices have the black top and the black back, but they have the main case body is the different color. This is the gunmetal selection. Now, you know, Tim, we're known for our skeletonized mechanical automatic timepieces with more than 100 different models, but the Zeppelin is right up there in the top 10. You know, it's a little bit eccentric of a design. I like to say it's a design for guys in their 20s and 30s. I certainly can wear it. As I told you, I took a lot of heat the last time I said that because a lot of guys wrote to me saying, wait a minute, you know, I'm 45 and I wear this style and I love it and I get compliments on it. So, you know, but it's that, what I refer to as, you know, the design of these new millennials, these guys that have a lot of money, young kids that go for, you know, they're out there in the business world making their way, and they're wearing these eccentric designs. And that's, you know, to me, what our whole, you know, series is all about here. And, you know, this one, as far as a skeletonized mechanical automatic, is all about the movement. It's kind of floating in the case there. As you can see, there's no dial to obscure any of the inner workings. And on this one, you can see we've got the Côte de Genève striping on what's remaining of the top plates.
And I think adding the noble metal layering to the case was a smart move on you guys' part too. In this case, you can get it with gold tone, which will give you the yellow, as you'll see here. It's also available in the rose tone, giving you, of course, the look of the rose gold. And frankly, if you want the one that actually costs the most to build, it's neither of those. It's the one done in the all black here, so kind of a stealth model, if you will. The tone on tone on tone. I love what I consider anyway to be the upgrade you guys did, namely the tuxedo striping, the damascening in the engine. For those of you familiar, that was not in the original at all. Probably not in the first two or three generations.
The original one had the scroll work. This one has the Côte de Genève. Also, another change we made, Tim, was the strap. The original one had a very soft, smooth, with no texturization, leather padded strap. This one's got the leather, but it's not padded. It's got that bomber leather style that's very thick, very heavy. I really like this one even better.
Well, guys, I want you to stick around. First of all, Christine's coming up immediately. Secondly, Larry's going to be doing shows here over the next couple of days or so. We got a lot of great stuff in the works. Man, this has gone really quick tonight. Also, check me out on Facebook, Tim Temple on Facebook, and I'll give you a couple of reasons. A lot of you have been asking about the return of exoskeleton. I'm going to start posting pictures again tomorrow. Also, there's a brand new Speedway from Invicta, and I'm going to post some pictures of that. And the piece de la resistance, I will post a link where you can see what has got to be the greatest film I've seen since Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, and it comes from Bollywood, and it's unbelievably amazing. And you will, I promise, you will just watch with your jaw hanging open. And I'm going to post a link to that, too, so you guys can enjoy some Bollywood.
So you pirating movies now?
This is not me. I have nothing to do with it.
Okay.
I am not, not in any way condoning piracy. It's actually already on YouTube. I have nothing to do with it. But
all right.
It's just a wondrous, to differentiate from wonderful, it is a wondrous film. So last call here on the Zepp. This is such a cool watch. It really is. I own several of these. You guys should too. It's absolutely priced to move. Stick around, like I promised you guys. Christine joins us.